Let's go. Welcome into the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran. I do this every day live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. This is a talk show every day for 3 years, noonish. We sit here, we talk about the world, or I do, and you guys in the chat room, you hang out, and sometimes I talk with you, but mostly it's just me. This is an exercise in unbridled narcissism. 3 years running. I try to do talk radio in a way that you just don't hear it anymore. You know, and I started doing talk radio in Chicago in 1992, moved to Dallas in 2001, and then it just all went to crap because apparently you can only talk about a couple of subjects. And if you have any interest in any other subjects, you need to save that for the bar, as one of my friends who works in talk radio today was told by his program director. Save that for the bar. Yeah, well, the bar is where people have fun. All right. So this is talk radio based in a lifestyle, current events fueled genre, give and take, me, you, and whoever. So thank you for being here. The show itself, I perform it as a stream of consciousness. I make notes all morning long, and then I come here and I refer to the notes, but by stream of consciousness, I mean no interruptions, no breaks. I don't stop. I just, whatever is the next thought in my head, I move on to it. The show will give you 4 quarters, 4 different segments that when you take the 30,000-foot view of things, you can see that it's all one beautiful show. 4 quarters. The first thing we talk about here is antecedently on this day. Let's look back at the events that have helped shape our understanding of this particular day's place in history. And every day has something. So we'll get into that. Quarter 2, birthdays. Happy birthday. It's, it's that. It's people having birthdays. But here's the thing. These are people that I have something to say about, right? So we're either going to decide happy birthday to this person or go kick rocks. Quarter 3 is deads. Those are people who died. Notable quotables, historical figures, celebrities, what have you. We decide that where'd they go? If you believe in the concept of a heaven and a hell, which I struggle with personally, but I get it. It's fun. This is a game. We take the person, we talk about their life, and then we decide, did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? Okay. Those are the first 3 quarters of the show. Then we get into all the nuts and bolts of the day. Oh, jeez. We got a lot of stuff to talk about too. And again, I will tell you, just so you know, because it's like, what? I thought you said the show was political. The show's not political, but we do talk about current events. And I'm a guy who is neither right or left. I like to say that we've got this 70% of people in this country who I can do business with. And that's the tribe that I run with. 70% of normal Americans, 15% on the right, gone crazy off the short end of the dock. Same for the left, 15% there. That leaves us 70. So that's who this talk show is for. And I will talk about a whole bunch of different issues. And, if you are radicalized, if you are one of the crazy 15, you'll hear me talk about an issue and go, he's one of us. And then you'll hear me jump to the next issue and you'll be like, fuck that libtard. Right? So, but I think that's how most of us are. I think most of us, if we're being honest, the way we truly feel about these issues of the day, it's one at a time. And they don't all fit into one side. There's a whole pick and choose a la carte kind of situation going on here. And until we really, really embrace that, we're going to continue to be divided. So this is my attempt. I don't know what this is. Hi, everybody. Let's say hi to the chat room. We got Peter in the chat room. We got Barney in the chat room. We got Peter again. Peter's talking a lot. Jeff's in the chat room. My boy Adam is in the chat room. Who was first? Let me go all the way back to the beginning to see who the first was. We got, me. Apparently on my end, I was the first, but no, we're going to give it to Sports Bras. We're going to give it CC. Thank you. Going to be hanging out here at the E-Gallery Studios on Sunday. We got a thing. Don't know what it is yet, but we got a thing. Kevin. There you go. Got to thank Kevin. One thing that we do on this show is no commercials, no spots, no advertisers. I carry water for no man, unless like a man comes in and is like, would you carry this water for X amount of dollars a month? Then I'd be like, yeah, probably, But for now, I get to claim I carry water for no man. But you folks, you've kept this show going for 3 years with tips and gratuities. I always say, treat me like I'm your bartender. Treat me like I'm your valet car parker. I just delivered your Grubhub, whatever. If you enjoy this show, throw a little something in the coffers if you can, and there'll be ample opportunity for you to do that throughout the show. But the person who tips the most on any given day is awarded on the next day's show the title of executive producer. And today we've got an executive producer, not a first-time executive producer, but one that always brings a smile to my face. Our executive producer today is KB. KB is one that it's that this one feels, I mean, don't get me wrong, any port in a storm, we will take anybody who is willing to say, yeah, keep going. We like it. But these ones bring, Kevin's like one of my oldest friends. Like we go back to like 13 years old, freshman year in high school. I mean, we got stories. I mean, there is nobody that knows me, more than he. I mean, he knew me in the Petri dish stage. Mama Beller does too. Mama Beller, you see her lurking around. She knows me too. So, I mean, anytime like those people support this, it's like, I want to cry. So thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin is our executive producer. Who will be tomorrow's executive producer? Well, might be Kevin again, because we don't get tips every day. But if we are so lucky as on this day to receive some sort of a blessing from you, the great unwashed, and you tip more than the next guy, you will be the executive producer of the day. All right, let's get started with the show. So, thank you, man. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Kevin. I was like, I should tell a Kevin story at this moment, but I'm like how many? How there's. Do you remember? I remember. I have this vivid story. So, me and Kevin and some other friends. This guy, Rick, who's a lovely guy, Rick Paravich, but somehow he occupies a starring role in all of these memories of mine, and I'm like, what? Anyway, he's a good dude. I just, we hung a little. Anyway, we had gone to a Bruce Springsteen concert in Indianapolis, and we were driving back. And Rick, this guy who occupies the starring role in so many memories, Rick decided, he was driving, and Rick decided that he was going to back road it. Like, if you're going from Chicago to Indianapolis, it's just a highway, man. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's just one highway. And you're on it for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. And then you're in Indianapolis. It's not that hard. But on the way back, because apparently he feared traffic at 2:00 in the morning in central Indiana, we ended up back roading it. I just remember me and Kevin, and I think Kevin was even driving. And it was somehow Rick was giving these instructions, and a trip that should have taken us, an hour and a half, 2 hours at that time of the night to get home from Indianapolis took us 4 hours because Rick had a secret way. And we're going through all of these towns, these Indiana towns that are off the highway. And, you're like, who fucking lives here? And these aren't even the towns Mellencamp was singing about. These are the towns that he couldn't be bothered with. These were the real Indiana small towns. You pass a sign that says birthplace of the Klan. Yeah, that's an Indiana thing. There is a town in Indiana that has a sign that says birthplace of the Klan. They're proud of it. Anyway, thank you, Kevin. Kevin's our executive producer. Every day, Kevin's our executive producer. I'll give a Kevin story. There you go. But there's a whole bunch of them. It was his mom's car. It was your mom's car? Or was it your... He at some point he had a car that was really cool. We don't know how he ended up getting it. Well, how did he get that car? I thought it was that car. I thought it was. Didn't you have a Nissan something in 1986 or I don't know? Kevin also says, and we got pulled over for doing a Chinese fire drill. Yes. Oh my God. I wanted to add that to the story, but dude, I have a very strong memory of that moment, but I wasn't sure if it was real or not. I'm like, wait, did that happen at that time? We did a Chinese fire drill in the middle of Central for some stupid reason. That's where just for some reason at a stop sign, everybody gets out of the car and runs around. But in this particular case, I remember the song Oh Sheila. And I just remember dancing to Oh Sheila in an intersection. Oh, what a weird random. Oh, Oh, Sheila. Like that song was a hit at the time, is what I'm saying. Anyway, that's crazy. Yeah, Datsun 200 SX. That was a cool car. All right. So thank you so much. And if you want to be the executive producer and have a story from my past, I'll be happy to tell it if I remember it. Okay, let's get started here. The rant is what we're doing here. We're going to talk about everything. I already told you how we would do it. So let's get started. It's the 13th of February. Tomorrow's St. Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. We've stripped the Jesus out of Valentine's Day a long time ago, but it's originally it's a Christian holiday, or at least was. It's been changed. Oh man, that could be like a fake. Oh, it's one day. I don't have time for that. I was gonna say that could be like a viral leverage thing. Like, what if I went to the crazy 15% on the right and started screaming about how, why isn't Valentine's Day a Christian holiday anymore, and why are they taking our Christian holiday? I could probably gain some traction with some bullshit like that. Well, I got one day to do it. It's not gonna. All right, anyway, let's keep going. It is the 13th day, not the 14th day, the 13th day of February, year of our Lord 2024. It is the 44th day of the year. There's 321 of these left in the year. So, why is that window open? Excuse me. Let's get into quarter one. We call it antecedently on this day to look back at all of the hot topics and current events that were on this day in history. There you go. Okay, so we'll start early. 1633, Galileo Galilei arrives in Rome for his trial for the Inquisition. He was Galileo Galilei, 1633. I point this out because weirdo religious people have always persecuted scientists for figuring out shit that didn't jive with their cave drawings or whatever they use for history. Right? So Galileo, he's looking at the stars. He's like, I'm going to figure this out. And then, he figured it out. And then they're like, you're the devil because that's different than what we think. So, persecuted Galileo Galilei, one of the great scientists of all time, persecuted on this day. And then 500 years later, I don't know, what is it, 16? So I don't know. It was like a couple of years ago, 1633, this happened. Like a couple of years ago, the Vatican officially and formally pardoned or apologized or whatever. Finally, a couple of years ago, they're like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, also Galileo Galilei, he wasn't wrong. Turns out we killed him, we discredited him, we disgraced him, because we had all the people thinking the way we wanted them to think because of the whole religion thing. And then when he did this thing that was, changing the way humanity looked at our world, we went, no, that's bad. And then because, again, we've got all these people brainwashed already thinking whatever the fuck we want to tell them, we told them science bad. It's happening again today. Stick around for the fourth quarter when we talk about the fucking measles outbreak in Texas. Measles! Stop doubting science, man. Sometimes it's not a perfect thing. But stop doubting science because it doesn't go along with whatever you read in a comic book. Or worse yet, saw in a YouTube video. Stop it! The 70% of us understand what I'm saying here. They understand this frustration. 1633, Galileo, persecuted by Rome on this day. On this day in 1935, ain't nothing happened. Ain't nothing that interests me between 1633 and 1935. It's all just, what? On this day in 1935, a jury in Flemington, New Jersey finds Bruno Hauptmann guilty of the 1932 kidnapping and murder of the Lindbergh baby, the son of Charles Lindbergh. Now, you're familiar with my take on Lindbergh. I think he's he's the insidious fraud of American history. There's a lot of frauds. I think there's a lot of frauds. John Wayne's a fraud. Marilyn Monroe's a fraud. Elvis Presley's a fraud. Bob Hope's a fraud. There's a lot of frauds. And I can explain my opinion on each and every one of them if you had the time, but we just don't today. So I'm going to stick with Charles Lindbergh and why I call him an insidious fraud, because he was a Nazi. All right, can we just stop? He was a Nazi, and the reason he was famous is, quite frankly, not all that impressive to me, as I, too, have done the same thing that he did. He just did it first. Oh, boy. Well, turns out it was easy to do because everyone's doing it now. Charles Lindbergh, get out of here. With that said, and this is why you have to be, you have to look at people and you have to treat human beings as multi-leveled and very complicated individuals. When his kid was kidnapped, that's the worst thing. I mean, how can you not have, what a terrible thing for, he's a Nazi, but still his kid was kidnapped. You see, I understand how that's difficult, but I'm evolved enough to be able to go, he's a Nazi. But also that was really sad what happened with his kid. They stole his kid, the Lindbergh baby. Moving on this day, 1960, with the success of a nuclear test. Oh, wait, hold on, I lost my space. Oh my God, it's like I knew that was going to happen. I hate Google Drive, you guys. It's like, I know it's helpful, but it's not for what I do. All right, here we go. Antecedently on this day in the year 1960, with the success of a nuclear test codenamed Je Bois Bleu, France becomes the fourth country to possess nuclear weapons. France! We forget about them. So, I take up for France because I like Napoleon. And I also really like Charlemagne. And the black talk show host, too. I like him a lot. But I like the original Charlemagne even more. I love the stories of the French resistance during World War II. And I think de Gaulle is as equal a badass as Winston Churchill, okay? So when people break bad on the French, I always go, yeah, they suck. They're pompous. Their food is way overrated. Other women smoke and don't look like they bathe, hair under the armpits. But aside from all of that, France also is the reason that, we're a country. Because as I always like to remind you, France took our side when we went to war with England in the Revolution. And, that's like, they were a superpower. France was a superpower, and they backed us. So I got a soft spot for France. But I always forget that they're a nuclear power. They got nukes. That's the other reason. Just stop acting like France is a bunch of pussies. They've had nukes since 1960. All right, so who else got nukes, right? All right, so let me do this. So we know about the United States. We know about the United States, China, and Russia, obviously. So we'll take them off the table. So that's three nuke nations. Then we got England. We know about England. We know about Israel. And we know about France here, right? Okay, all right. So what is that? 5, 6? All right, so that's 6. Then you got India and Pakistan. Yeah, they got nukes. Okay, 6, 7, 8. And then and North Korea, I guess. We're going with North Korea. Should we say do confirmation? Yeah, and maybe Iran? I don't know. Not a lot of countries have nukes, and we've kept the lid on that. Not so great because Russia and China got them and North Korea got them, but we're trying. Anyway, it was on this day. France became the fourth nation to possess the nuclear bomb. On this day in 2017, Kim Jong-nam, the brother of North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. All right, first, what's going on there? What's going on in that side of the world? Is everything flipped over? Is everything lopsided? Because I'm guessing Kim is the last name, but they front load that. Like I would be Moran Pugs in I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, Kim Jong-nam, the brother of Kim Jong-un. So Un and Nam are the first names. Why did they do that? Or look, I'm open to the idea that we're the ones that did it. Maybe it was originally that way and that we went, no, it should be. So I don't know, but I like it our way. I like having a really bland first name and then like a kind of a ethnic sounded. The last name tells you a lot. The last name will tell you a lot about the person you're talking to if you believe in ethnic and cultural influences. All right. Anyway, he got whacked the brother of Kim Jong-un got whacked in a airport on this day in 2017. You remember that? You remember the video? We saw the video. It's a little pudgy guy walking through the airport with his little bowl haircut, his little Mo Howard haircut. And he's like, members only jacket. And he just gets whacked. Wait, no, that's not how it went. Didn't he get stuck with something? Didn't he get injected? Was it like a chick that bumped into him? I don't care. It was a cool video, though. It was like early, cool ass, real world viral video shit. On this day in 2017, on this day in 2021, snowpocalypse. Remember that? On this day, A major winter storm causes mass blackouts and kills at least 82 people in Texas and northern Mexico. And today it's freezing. Yeah, I guess this is it. Is this the worst week? Valentine's week? Is this the worst week in North Texas? Because if it's the anniversary of that, which was probably the worst. I wasn't here. I was in Chicago, but I was kept very up to speed on it because my son was here. So, trying to track that whole thing. But yeah, I don't have any good memories. You guys do though. So share them in the chat room if you want. Snowpocalypse anniversary on this day in 2021. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We're going to move on to quarter two. We're going to celebrate some birthdays, or we're going to tell people we don't like you. We don't like you, so we do not, in fact, wish you a good birthday. Born on this day, 1923. Let me tell you something, folks. I'm going to wish this man preemptively a happy birthday because he's one of my favorite people, and you know the drill. Whenever one of these dudes show up, I got to take off the hat and I got to salute this glorious son of a bitch. For it was on this day in the year 1923 that the good Lord bestowed upon us the world's greatest pilot of all time, Brigadier General Chuck Yeager, born on this day, 1923. Chuck Yeager's a badass. Chuck Yeager's a badass. You kids remember Chuck Yeager? Please. John Cena, fuck you. Chuck Yeager kicked John Cena's ass. Chuck Yeager, here's one for you kids. Chuck Yeager kicked Chuck Norris's ass. Yeah, he would. Nah, Chuck Yeager was a badass. They say the greatest pilot of all time, but then quickly looking at his Wikipedia page this morning, I saw that Flight Magazine, which is a thing, Flight Magazine in their 2010 issue of the greatest pilots of all time, listed Brigadier General Chuck Yeager at number 5. Number 5. I say number 1. They had Lindbergh at number 1. Oh, man. Well, the bullshit never stopped. They had Lindbergh in 2010. They put Lindbergh at number 1. Again, the dude just did something first. Most of us had flown to Europe, and that's what he did. That's why he became a god. Something that we all do every day. We don't even think about it. And he's number 1 over Brigadier General Chuck Yeager. I don't think so. I don't know who the rest of the list was. Chuck Yeager was the first man to break the sound barrier, the first man to go over the speed of sound. He was a combat pilot in World War II, Korea, and then he was done being a combat pilot, but then Vietnam happened, and they're like, we need the biggest badass the United States Air Force has. Enter Chuck Yeager, Brigadier General Chuck Yeager. He's the only man in World War II who was allowed, after being shot down, so there was a rule in World War II, if you were an Allied pilot and you were shot down, but escaped. And how did they escape? French resistance. Thank you. Yeah, the French resistance were on the ground waiting for downed American and Allied pilots to get them back to their bases safely before being interrogated and captured by Nazis. Yeah, that's what the French did. I know we fucking hate them, and we need to rename French fries freedom fries, but never forget. Oh, we forget. It takes about 10 years to forget. We forget. We will absolutely forget everything. Anyway, so if a pilot got shot down in World War II, the French resistance would rescue them, save them, mend them, whatever, and then get them back. However, no Allied pilots were allowed to fly any missions after having been shot down and rescued by the French resistance. Why? Because the risk was too high that a pilot could get shot down again after having already been rescued by the French resistance the first time. He could get shot down again, get captured by the Nazis, and get tortured and blow up the whole French resistance scene. So no pilots were ever allowed to do that, except for one, Brigadier General Chuck Yeager. They let Chuck do it because they knew they weren't going to fucking break Chuck Yeager. Chuck Yeager. Badass. Born on this day, or not born on this day. Born on this day in 1923. Born on this day in 1942, Peter Tork. He's a monkey. He's a naked monkey. Did you know that about Peter Tork? Like he never wore clothes, ever. Only wore clothes when he was on TV. Peter Tork was so weird about being naked all the time that he would finish shooting the monkeys. He would get undressed, the monkeys thing, get undressed in his dressing room and then walk to his car, buck naked, get in his car and drive all the way home and be naked until the next day that's weird. Peter Tork was weird. Peter Tork of the Monkees, born on this day in 1942. Also an incredibly talented musician. Peter Tork, of all the people that were in the Monkees, he was the most talented and the most accomplished musician. He was living with Stephen Stills. Stephen Stills and Peter Tork had a house in the Laurel Canyon. They were renting. And Stephen Stills went on an audition for this new thing called the Monkees. And they liked his ability to play music and they loved his personality. But Stephen Stills had fucked up teeth. His teeth were all over the place. And so the Monkees producer said, yeah, unless you get your teeth fixed, we can't really help you. So Stephen Stills went home, told his roommate, Peter Tork, hey, you got good teeth. You're a better musician than me. So that's how Peter Tork became a Monkee. Peter Tork, born on this day in 1942. Born on this day in 1944, the great Jerry Springer. Yeah, I said it. I said the great Jerry Springer. I got to know Jerry enough to know that he's a cool dude. He was a nice man. He didn't give a shit. Did you watch the Jerry Springer 4-part docuseries? I don't know what it's on. It's on one of them platforms, and it's relatively new. It's very good. It's good. And I think it does an accurate job of showing how Jerry was just there to throw it to commercials, right? The whole Jerry Springer show was concocted by Richard Dominic, the executive producer. That was his thing. He booked everything. Jerry was paid a shit ton of money to just stand there and go, ain't this screwed up, America? That was him. Complicit in the decline of American culture? Absolutely complicit. But I could look. Jerry Springer was a nice guy. And, I always tell the story about how Jerry Springer, I think, is extremely instrumental in my partner Kelly and I getting our start in radio. And it was because Jerry Springer getting our own show, I should say. Springer filmed in Chicago. And so his producers would use our shows on our radio station, which was sort of a shock jock kind of, tits and ass radio station. They used our shows to look for crazy people with crazy stories. So we booked a lot of people on Jerry Springer over the years. And because of that, we had a good relationship with him. And Jerry would come on our shows all the time and hang out in the offices. He was a wonderful man. Kelly and I were trying to convince Reed Reeker, the program director at the station in Chicago that we worked at, that we would work together as a team. Reed had already wanted to give Kelly a show, but Kelly wanted to work with me. So we had gone out. Reed didn't know me. I wasn't working under Reed at this point. So the idea was, Kelly said, let's me and Reed go out on Rush Street in Chicago and just have a night and hang out. And as soon as he'll get to know you and he'll be like, yeah, this guy's great. Hopefully. That was the plan. So we're on Rush Street and we're at this bar, me, Kelly, and Reed. And all of a sudden, the whole bar erupts because, oh my God, Jerry Springer's here. Yeah, not with cameras, but Jerry's just out with some friends from work, from the show. They're having drinks like normal people. They're shaking hands. Everybody, Jerry, whole bar starts chanting. This is 1997. Jerry. And we're sitting here and me and Kelly are looking at Jerry as he's walking towards us. And he knows us, and he smiles, and he's high-fiving people, but he smiles and he stops. And just as he did that, a chair opened right there, and he sat down. And Jerry Springer and Kelly Moore started having this little conversation. He was genuinely happy to see her. And then with me, I'm just a guy who's like, hey, Pugs, how are you? And then the next question, what's Kevin up to? Kevin was my host. Yeah, nobody cared about me. It was all about Kevin. But Kelly and Jerry started talking, and then he's got a drink. And then suddenly in our little circle at the bar, it's me, Kelly, an international television star, and the guy who is deciding whether or not to give us a show. So Kelly and I, at this point, started working over Jerry Springer in the bar, teasing him, having fun, making Reed laugh. And that's why I say Jerry Springer is instrumental in Kelly and I getting our show in Chicago. So happy birthday, Jerry Springer. You were a good dude. She probably even told Jerry. She probably even said, hey, Jerry, we're kind of, we're trying to get a show from this guy. So I don't know that that's true, but I imagine it is, because that's how Kelly operated. She probably let Jerry in on what was happening here. And that's why Jerry was probably so complimentary of us, unnecessarily even, which was great. So happy birthday, Jerry Springer, born on this day in 1944, born on this day in 1947. Oh, he's dead too. He died 2 years ago, 2023, it says. That was sad. Born on this day in 1947, not dead yet. I say yet because we're all going to die. I'm not wishing for anything, but I don't like this man, Coach K. Coach Mike Krzyzewski. It only took America 30 years to learn how to pronounce that name. Coach K was a difficult name, one of the most difficult famous person names of all time. Coach Mike Krzyzewski, not spelled anything like it's pronounced. Duke basketball. I mean, yeah, one of the greats. Just don't like him. So we're gonna move on. Coach K, born on this day in 1947, born on this day in 1950. Here's someone I do like, Peter Gabriel. Red rain is falling down. Peter Gabriel is awesome. He doesn't have the body of work that, someone who every so often when he puts something out, you're like, whoa, he should do more. I've had this drunken argument in bars before when a Peter Gabriel song comes on. I've often said if the man was simply more prolific, we'd talk about him in the same way we talk about Bowie, but we don't. Peter Gabriel was awesome. Peter Gabriel, born on this day in 1950. I mean, I guess he's still awesome. He's still alive. Born on this day in 1951. Here's a guy we need to talk about. Here's a feller. Here's a feller that is just, Hollywood is so cruel. Let me get you. Yeah, we'll go with this one. This will be good. Hollywood is so cruel because when I was 10 years old, I would have told you that this was like the most famous dude on the planet. And then he does a movie and it becomes like the coolest movie. And you're like, oh, this guy's awesome. And then like, over the course of the next 35 years, he does a thing on Seinfeld. He shows up on this. The career never went anywhere. And of course, we're talking about happy birthday, born on this day in 1951, the Dr. Pepper guy, David Naughton. I drink Dr. Pepper, don't you know? Remember this guy? Well, if you're Gen X, you do. This guy from 1977 to 1981 was the primary endorser for Dr. Pepper. And here's the premise of the commercial campaign that he was. And by the way, we think back on it and how cheesy it is, but it was an award-winning Clio champion advertising campaign for whoever did this. I'm not even sure. But it was the premise was he was a dude in a vest. He was wearing a weird vest for some reason in a collared shirt. Well, you see him. There you go. He was a dude in a vest, and he was obviously just railed up on cocaine, so excited about Dr. Pepper. And he's dancing through this like town, this like little small town. If we're being honest, the town kind of looked like, you ever go to Six Flags and they're like, hey, this is where the gift shop is. Kind of looked like that kind of a town, like a Disney World town or something. And for like 4 years, that was like the primary commercial advertisement for, you know how Flo, is it Flo? The progressive girl Flo, remember her? Yeah, he was first. David Naughton. Then he's like, yeah, I'm going to do a movie now. And we're all like, oh, the guy that's on every Dr. Pepper commercial is doing movies. Okay, we'll see what that is. And it's American Werewolf in London. What are you kidding me? That is one of the most highly regarded films of its kind from that era that there is. Everybody. It won an Oscar. That film won an Oscar. Not for Best Picture, mind you, but for kick-ass visual effects that we had never seen before. And then David Naughton does nothing else. Let's see. Let's just look into his pictures. There he is, that guy. That's him, Dave. That's him now. I don't know what he's doing. Probably teaching drama at some community college in New Hampshire. I have no idea. There he is. Be a pepper, do a pepper. It's a pepper, them's a pepper. I don't know how it goes. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? I remember that. That I remember. Look at him. She's too young for you, David. This was way pre-Me Too. Look at him. This dude's like, he's like 25. She's like 12. She looks like she's trying to hook up with him. I don't like that. All right, here he is dancing through town. Look at him. Who's the guy high on cocaine dancing through town square at Walt Disney World? It's this guy. There he is. But I can't explain it. I don't know what the hell ever happened to this guy's career. He was big. He was popular. He was everywhere. And then he was nowhere. Let's see. He was on Seinfeld. He played Elaine's boyfriend on Seinfeld, but only for a couple of episodes. All right, there you go. I think we've given David Naughton far more time than he deserves. He's a curiosity to me. I don't know what happened to him. He was so big. Anyway, born on this day, 1951, David Naughton. Born on this day in 1961, Henry Rollins of the Rollins Band. Boy, he's intense. Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins, the Rollins Band, whatever. Born on this day in 1961, born on this day in 1977, Randy Moss. Let's talk about Randy Moss for a minute. Randy Moss. Put your mind back into Randy Moss, 1997. You're back in 1997. You're thinking about Randy Moss. You thought he was a thug. You thought he was terrible. But see now, this is the criminal element that they're letting into the NFL. This guy, that Randy Moss was a pariah in the NFL. He was, for some reason, and I never quite understood it now that I think back, but I went along with it. He was considered a bad guy in the NFL. Turns out there is no evidence to support that. And what I love about the Randy Moss that we now know, and that we should all apologize for if we ever had like a bad thought about him, Randy Moss is all over college football and pro football and all that. He's a pundit. What do we know about Randy Moss now? We know that the real Randy Moss is just like a super chill, good old boy who just wants to go fishing and hunting and drive his truck and just be a hillbilly. Randy Moss is not the ghetto gangbanger thug that is infiltrating the NFL here in 1996. Randy Moss is also, I always put, I have a top 3 receivers, okay? And it's all based on what I saw. The greatest wide receiver I've ever seen in my life is Megatron. Sorry, Calvin Johnson. I've seen too much of him in the Detroit Lions, watching all these, NFC North. He was incredible. But Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, man, they're the next two. They're the next two for me. And you can put 2, 3 in any order. We can have that conversation, and I might agree with you however it shakes out. But anyway, Randy Moss, I often think about how that was a guy who the media created a narrative about what kind of person he was or is. And I don't know, he was wearing the black hat. They decided he would be a bad guy. And now we know Randy Moss is the furthest thing from a bad guy. He's like kind of dorky and kind of nice. And, anyway, Randy Moss, happy birthday to you. Born on this day in 1977. You are without question one of the greats. One of the greats. All right, let's see here. What do we got? We got to do deads now, right? One more time, thank you to Kevin, our executive producer on today's show. Appreciate Kevin and his tip yesterday. Let's do the deads. Here we go. People who died on this day, people who died, we're going to decide, where did they go? Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell? All right, dead people. Dead on this day, 1883, Richard Wagner. Richard Wagner, the composer, Hitler's favorite composer. You can see where this is going. He wrote the Nazi theme song. If there is a Nazi theme song, Flight of the Valkyries could probably be that. And he wrote it. And so he's going to hell. All right, there you go, Wagner. No, I'm not. Dick Wagner. If this guy was from Ohio, his name would be Dick Wagner. But because he's German, he's Richard Wagner. Dead on this day in 1883. Dead on this day in 2002. This could be a tough one for me because I dig this dude so much. He was such a bundle of contradictions but such a tremendous artist, and just really at the heart of it, he just seemed like a good dude who don't fuck with, don't want you to fuck with him. That's kind of his whole vibe. Dead on this day in 2002, the great, the legendary, the icon of the outlaw movement, Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings. I love the Waylon Jennings. Like, there's so many Waylon Jennings stories. Like I would love to see like a depiction of the outlaw scene. Like, wouldn't that make a cool ass miniseries, right? Somebody should do that. Where's gonna get Taylor Sheridan on the phone? Like, focus on Austin, Texas between like 1972 and 1980, right? And just do a series about the outlaw country scene with Willie and Co. And you can move in. I mean, you're gonna have to move in the big names. So you got Waylon and Merle driving through, and how about some Christopher? There's a million of them. Billy Joe, there's any number of them. The stories. Because Waylon Jennings was a snob. He didn't like them goddamn hippies. Did not like the goddamn hippies, did pot smoking hippies. I'll tell you one thing. But he loved methamphetamine and cocaine. Like, that was all right. That was all right. Like that shit too much. But all of his buddies were like big potheads. So what I mean is, wouldn't that be funny? I mean, imagine that. It's 1974, some club outside, Austin. And, you got Willie Nelson and you got Christopherson and then you got Waylon Jennings. Like, you smoking that hippie shit again? I mean, I just think that's funny. And then he does some methamphetamine or whatever. And anyway, he was awesome. I think he's probably going to hell, though, if we're being honest about Waylon Jennings. A character of a man, a tremendous artist, a great icon of American culture, but also, I think he did some things, probably while high on methamphetamine, but still, we're going to put Waylon Jennings in hell. Dead on this day in 2002, dead on this day in 2014, preemptively. I don't know anything about this dude other than what I know from TV. So he's going to heaven. Ralph Waite died on this day in 2014. He was the dad on the Waltons. I'm going to put him in hell? Heck no! Ralph Waite going to heaven. All right, one more time. I do want to thank our executive producer of today's show. He is the incredible, my old friend, Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin. Goes by KB in the chat room, so give him a pat on the back and attaboy, whatever it is that's in your vernacular, but certainly convey how happy we are that he tipped the show. Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm watching something. I'm very excited. I'm very excited about this new movie that I've only become aware of in the last 24 hours. My son is really excited about it too. So we're going to go see this movie in the theaters together. It's called Friendship. Have you guys seen anything for Friendship yet? And I think I got it. We'll watch the trailer maybe at the end of the show. It's Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. And it's a dark comedy about, and I'm pretty sure this is a dark comedy based on a Tim Robinson show bit. I think this is from a bit from I Think You Should Leave, which is one of the funniest shows on Netflix. The premise of the movie Friendship is that Tim Robinson is encouraged to make friends with the neighbors because his wife thinks he doesn't have enough friends. So he puts himself out there and he becomes friends with Paul Rudd, who lives next door. And Paul Rudd apparently has a whole group of dudes that he hangs out with, and they are tight and they are having fun. And Tim Robinson's character realizes that there is a life outside of just coming home, plopping down in your easy chair and watching TV and drinking scotch. He can have friends. He's loving life. And then Paul Rudd breaks up with him. Tells him it's not working out. We don't want you in the group anymore. It's called Friendship. It looks really funny. So I was just distracted because they were talking about it on the news. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, quarter four is where we are. Oh, thank you to Kevin. Thank you very much to Kevin. And if you would like to help support this kind of talk radio brand that you probably can't, a genre, if you will, that you can't hear anywhere else, drop a little something. That's how we put gas in the tank. God damn it. I'm one of these dudes. I've always got less than a quarter tank of gas. God. It's like freezing here. It's like, it's not that cold though. It's not Chicago, like 20 below zero for 3 days straight where you got to have at least half a tank of gas or your gas tank will freeze. Because of all the bullshit water they put in the gas tank or in gas. Anyway, I don't think we got to really worry about that here in Texas. I mean, it's not even, what is it now? What is the temperature? I know my phone said it was under freezing for 12 straight hours, which is pretty big here. So it was like 31 degrees for 12 straight hours. It's currently 35. Sun's out, sunny. It's going to get cold again tonight. Is it going to go below 40? Nah. Okay, so I don't need to worry about my gas tank. We're good. It's going to be in the high 30s and low 40s for the next couple of days. All right, that's it. There's your weather. You like bitches, weather. Well, you always got to have weather. Everybody's phone is a weatherman now. We don't need weather. You know what else we don't need? Radio. We don't need traffic. We don't need it. Nobody under the age of 70 is in their car relying on you and your top of the hour traffic report. Nobody. You're stealing money from these advertisers. Yeah. Now from the Napleton Dodge Traffic Center, you're stealing money. Nobody cares about that shit. I'm sorry. It's just true. It's just how I feel. Everybody's got traffic on their phone. Everybody's got the Waze app if they want it. It's far superior to whatever it is that you're going to. You may not even tell me my road. And yet they're holding on to it. It's the kind of thing. We're going to hold on to it. We're going to news radio. We're going to keep dedicating time to traffic because we think we're providing a service. Just like the governor after a hurricane where he's got to employ the sign language person for I don't know how much taxpayer dollars. Everybody's got closed captioning. We don't need this person next to the governor talking about, where the FEMA camps are. We don't need that person. That is a waste of money. I'm sure Doge will figure that out. We'll see. All right, let's get started. Guys, we're going to get started hot here because the top story as far as, and by the way, remember I told you we're going to do some changes. So I think from now on, like the big stories that I'm going to lead off with, unless it's like something massively global, like I'm looking right now, the asteroid's chance of striking Earth in the year 2032 is now increased to 2.3%. Every couple of days it increases. It's not good. It's not good. Remember we talked last week about the asteroid that's going to hit us in 2032, and it was only like a 1.8% chance, but we got to keep an eye on it. Well, every day since, that number has gone up. They're either really leaning into trying to gin us up about the fear of an asteroid coming and killing us all, or there's an asteroid coming to kill us all. Those are the two choices. Asteroid's chance of striking Earth in 2032 increases to 2.3%. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's a story. That'll count as a story. We did a big global story. Doesn't get more global than that one, but let's get more local because I want to start talking more about things. I used to pull news stories just from these aggregator sites and these big global sites. And I don't know why I was doing that because I believe talk radio needs to be local. So what I've recently started doing is using more of like the local Fox 4 and the NBC 5 and the local TV news sites because those are all great. And let me tell you, we haven't been disappointed. A lot of interest. So I'm going to start doing a little bit more of that. You guys find any crazy stories? Here's how you can help me. If you guys find any crazy stories in your neighborhood, like I love the what is that called? Like back door or back neighbor or what? I don't know, whatever it is, those local neighborhood apps. You guys ever find something balls out wacky? Send it to me, please. I want to cover those things. News isn't just what CNN and Fox decide they're going to call news. That news is whatever a discerning individual such as myself is interested in and thinks is of some relevance to the great unwashed. That's what news is. News is a sliding scale. How do you define news? It all depends. Every editor, every journalist has an agenda. So what is news to one may not be news to the other. So if you find something cool happening in your neighborhood, I'll treat it like news. Measles, guys. Measles. This is the big story here in Texas. We've got a fucking measles outbreak in West Texas. Why? Because nobody's getting vaccinated for anything anymore. Kids are going to die now. I mean, measles, you don't fuck around with measles. Let's figure out the story. All right, here we go. I'll read it to you. You don't need me going off half-cocked on a story that I've only seen the headline too. I don't know what I'm about to rant on. All I know is that it says measles are back in Texas. And I'm like, ugh, I don't care. My kid gets the flu shot and the measles vaccinate. My kid gets that stuff. Okay. So fine, whatever. You don't want your kid to have that. Okay. That's a you choice. Measles outbreak expands in West Texas with low vaccination rates. So a lot of people out there in West Texas not trusting doctors anymore. A measles outbreak is growing in rural areas of West Texas where vaccination rates are well below the recommended levels. In late January, 2 children in Gaines County were hospitalized for measles. On Wednesday, the state health department shared in a health alert that the number of confirmed cases had grown to 6. As of Friday afternoon, the outbreak has jumped to 14 confirmed cases and 6 probable cases among people who are symptomatic and had close contact with infected individuals. Okay, let's see. Investigations are ongoing as cases have been identified in parts of the region that are... Do you know what? Like measles, like you hear measles, you're like, oh, like chicken pox? I had that. Yeah, a bunch of us had it. And we were vaccinated. And that's why it didn't kill us. Because once again, you got to explain to people that a vaccination is not, in many cases, a vaccination is not a force field. A vaccination is a seatbelt. You're still going to have the car accident. You're still going to get the measles. But the vaccination is going to make it have less of an impact on your body. So just get the fucking measles vaccination, people. You're still going to get sick, but it's not going to kill you. Because that's the thing about measles that I think we've forgotten. Because remember, #never forget. And I said, no, we forget. Measles killed entire communities at one time because nobody was vaccinated. And it's that contagious. So whatever, you're a grown person. You make your own choices, right? But kids, this is one that really crushes kids. This one, let's see here. A record share of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption from required vaccinations last school year. So more and more kids are taking an exemption from having these vaccines. Okay. A record share of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption for required vaccinations last school year, leaving more than 125,000 new school children without coverage for at least one state-mandated vaccine. The state! There you go! The state! State! I trust doctors, man. I trust doctors. I trust the idea of getting second opinions. I like what's known as College of Physicians, where they all come together and they talk about different things. I trust the consensus view on those kinds of things. Just because a guy has a white coat on, right, doesn't mean that he's Fauci or whatever. And I don't even know. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. Jesus Christ. Holy crap. Holy folks. You're not going to hospitals anymore now? I mean, is it just selectively on viruses, or do you just not trust medical? Are you still taking your diabetes medicine? Nope, not doing that anymore. Walking around Walmart, I should say motorized scooting around Walmart with your giant elephant feet. A record share of U.S. kindergartners had an exemption. We already did this. United States Department of Health and Human Services. Is that still a thing? I don't know. I'm not sure that's still a thing. I don't know if we should even be listening to them at this point. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services has set a goal that at least 95% of children in kindergarten will have gotten 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, a threshold necessary to help prevent outbreaks of the highly contagious disease. The U.S. has now fallen short of that threshold 4 years in a row. We've got an entire generation of kids out there running around just, vulnerable to shit that killed prairie farmer kids in 1890. That's back. At the state level, vaccine exemptions were highest in Idaho. All right. Measles is an airborne disease that can cause serious health consequences, including death, especially in young and unvaccinated children. General symptoms may include fever, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, and rash of red spots. About 1 in 5 unvaccinated people in the United States who get measles will be hospitalized. According to CDC, about 1 in every 20 children will develop pneumonia, and others may develop a dangerous swelling in the brain called encephalitis. Up to 3 of every 1,000 children who become infected with measles will die. Well, those odds are okay. I don't even know 1,000 kids. All right, there you have it. We got measles. We got measles. Why are we taking steps backwards? I mean, come on, I'm all for having the fun with the Bigfoot and, release the Epstein file. I like all that shit. That's all fun. Measles? Come on, can we put a cork back in that bottle? Let's go. All right, now let's talk about another story that's happening local here. This is the Cuban situation and the ongoing Mavs deal. So remember yesterday we talked about how Cuban got into the beef with a couple of loudmouth meatball fans. Fire Nico, which is a sentiment that I agree with. Being promoted in a behavior I deplore. All right, exactly. I understand the sentiment. I just think sit down and shut up, stupid. That's how I feel when people act a fool in public. Cuban kind of felt the same way, but Cuban's a billionaire, so Cuban can't do that because then the great mob will come with their pitchforks for the billionaire because the billionaire was like, "Shut up and sit down." So they came for him. They came for Cuban. Cuban was getting trashed, man. I'll tell you, look, there probably isn't a dude. I know that he's polarizing. He's politically polarizing if you are radicalized in either of the 15%. Like if you're 15% on the right, you probably think, Mark Cuban is one of the serious bad guys, right? Okay. I don't think that. I've known him for years. I don't know him well. I certainly haven't been around him in 10, 15 years, but there was a time when, he was someone that, hey, Mark, how you doing? Hey, Pugs, what's going on? He was a regular guest on my show. He's a good guy. He's a good dude. I love him. He's my favorite billionaire. And if you know anything about me, you know that I fucking hate billionaires. But he's a regular guy. He was always seemingly authentic. All right. I appreciate that because everybody's a bullshit artist. So anyway, that's what I like about him. Anyway. Cuban got dragged, man. A lot of people in I think that he started to look at some of this shit and he's like, oh my God. It's like I'm being lumped in with the people who wanted to get rid of Luka, which Cuban has certainly gone on record as saying, no, I didn't even know it was happening. I wasn't in the loop on that. I would have tried to do something. He said that. But anyway, so he gets in, there's a viral video of him telling a fan to shut up and sit the fuck down, right? Shut up and sit down. We saw it yesterday. And then he gets all kinds of trashed virally for it. So how did that shake out? Did anything happen? There was another game yesterday. So let's see. This is a news story? Yeah, we'll watch the news story. Unless there's not a news story. Oh, okay. I see what's happening here. This comes from NBCDFW. It's NBC5. This was yesterday. Mark Cuban. I'm watching an ad. I'm trying to fill time while an ad passes. And there it is. All right, let's all enjoy the pretty girl doing yoga for 3 more seconds. 2, 1. All right. She was lovely, wasn't she? All right, here we go. Why isn't it playing? Oh.
We have an update now on one of the Mavs fans kicked out of Monday's game. You may recall he was ejected after his friend exchanged words with Mark Cuban while protesting the Luka trade.
So tonight we have learned that fan is sitting courtside, and it's courtesy of Cuban. Here's Meredith Yeomans.
Garrett Bus.
All right, so this is important. So this is what Cuban did. The fan was upset. He was gaining all kinds of followers on Twitter and all of that, and he's making videos. Cuban, you suck. You kicked me out. Fuck you, dude. All this kind of stuff. Really aggressive, angry stuff. So in order to kind of stop him from doing that, which was growing and growing, I mean, this dude was like, this is my new job, to be the guy who hates Cuban, right? That was like kind of his thing. So in order to kind of control that, Cuban's like, give him courtside tickets. Give him my tickets. Ask him if he wants to come to the game. Tell him I'm sorry. Give him the tickets. So that's what's happening. So the dude's like, okay. And he takes the tickets because that's how easily bought we are. And yeah, I'm pretty easily bought too. I'll tell you, if the most dark themed, insidious military drone manufacturing company wanted to buy this show, I probably would be okay. So I'm full of shit when I say, or when it seems like I'm criticizing this dude for being easily bought. I'm easily bought too, I'm sure. At this point, oh God. So he gives them tickets. Now, here's the first thing you got to look for, and this is what I was looking for, okay? Like sit with me tickets? Or, like, is Cuban going to be there? Like, will you be sitting with Cuban?
He is back at the AAC 48 hours after this contentious scene with security.
I have not violated.
It began with 2 minutes left in Monday's game when Bussey's friend Chris Taylor began shouting.
Fire Nico!
That led to an exchange between Taylor and Mark Cuban, which Taylor and Bussey spoke with NBC5 about Tuesday.
We expected something of this sort. I just don't think it was to this magnitude.
Both Taylor and Bussey were ejected because the Mavs say they broke the NBA's code of conduct.
I have not violated.
Social media.
All right, hey, look. So they're meatball fans, but I'm a meatball fan of my teams too. So when I call somebody a meatball, understand I'm not being necessarily, I'm shit talking. I'm locker room shit talking. So these guys are meatball fans, meatball Mavs fans. So what are we to understand? They were the tickets of the one dude and the other guy who caused all the problems. The guy in this scene who's wearing the Fire Nico shirt, that's the guy who caused the problems, but that's not the guy who Cuban gave the courtside seats to. So I'm a little confused, but I guess that was a friend that he brought.
Fanned the flames when videos of the incident went viral. Then Bussey says Cuban reached out to him directly.
We kind of agreed that it was the whole deal, at least with him. His altercation with Chris was basically just a misunderstanding.
Cuban then offered and Bussey accepted 2 courtside tickets to Wednesday's game. He brought his 7-year-old.
I brought his kid. There you go. Feel good story. He brought the kid courtside.
son.
I feel like it's at least a step in the right direction, you know, like at least from his standpoint, I feel like the front office has a lot to.
Hey, you know who he didn't bring to sit courtside? His shit-talking, loudmouth, drunk friend who caused this whole situation to start up in the first place. He didn't bring that guy. He brought his son. I get that. That's awesome. That's cool. All right, I like this.
Say and come out and apologize to the fans, you know.
Common ground during a divisive time in Dallas sports.
All right, there you go. So that's how Mark Cuban versus the angry Mavs fan situation shook out. Cuban bought him off. That's what billionaires do. Easy. Table scraps. Cuban wasn't going to the game. Not after what happened the night before. He was probably, I'm not going to the game. This ain't going to the game. People were booing him. People were talking, he's got this whole thing. So what does he do? He puts those, and now problem solved. Everybody loves him again. All right, what else do we have here? What is this Mavs policy? Oh, yes. Okay, so after the nonsense of 2 nights ago, that we just showed you how that fleshed out. 2 nights ago was the game where Cuban got into it with the fan and everybody started trashing Cuban and they were throwing people left and right out for having Fire Nico stuff or Miriam Adelson pictures with a big red nose, whatever. They were throwing those people out. They were tolerating none of it. It was very Sieg Heil down there at the arena for Mavericks games 2 nights ago. Then all eyes were on last night. And I got to tell you, there was a lot of fun stuff that was happening online in the ramp up to yesterday's game. Ralph Strangis of, of all people, and Grego, hardline Grego. Strangis and Grego were scheming to buy like an entire section in the 300 level because apparently it was like $6 ticket nights. They were like openly scheming. They were just going to give away like hundreds of tickets. But the only thing is you had to get kicked out for chanting Fire Nico constantly throughout the game. That's where we were. So that's what I was looking for yesterday. I didn't really see many disruptions. Quite frankly, I didn't watch much of the game. But comes news this morning that now the Dallas Mavericks have new policies concerning what fans can and cannot do when they are attending Mavericks games. Signs, shirts at Mavs games will no longer lead to automatic ejections. Look at that. We won. Power to the people. Why? Because the billionaires decided this bad press is terrible, and I guess we can just take being mocked. They were. That's what it was. They were being mean to Governor Patrick Dumont. Young Patrick Dumont, billionaire of the Sheldon Adelson dynasty. He was being laughed at and mocked. Why, he attended the game with his black friend with the cool jazz hat. And he was mocked. Remember that? He showed up at the game. He showed up with like some dude who looked like the guy in the Ozempic commercial who's like, I'm taking my life back. And he's in like a jazz record store and he's got a jazz hat. Anyway, that's who he went to the game with. And he was embarrassed. So he had everybody kicked out. And that's why it was a big thing. That's what happened 2 nights ago. So now, after all that blowback, because the good people of North Texas do not take any of that Nazi bullshit. What? unless you're on 75 on a Friday heading north into Plano, crossing under that Northwest Highway bridge. Then those Nazis are there. Those swastikas. I've seen it. You've seen it. We've seen it. Nobody's talking about it. Normalized. It's just a normal thing now. Signs, shirts at Mavs games will no longer lead to automatic ejection. Yeah, this is a win for the fans. The fans, they realize that they can't do it. They have to just sit there and get mocked and get booed and all that. And it doesn't matter if they've got their cool jazz hat wearing friend with them. Dallas, the Mavericks took the floor Wednesday night for the first time since multiple fans were ejected from the American Airlines Center for NBA, quote, code of conduct violations. Sources within the team tell Fox 4 that signs and shirts similar to those that led to fan ejections on Monday will not be automatically thrown out in future games. So get them, Fire Nico, get them creative Miriam Adelson with the clown nose, t-shirts. I've seen those. Fans will not be thrown out of the stadium as long as they respect the safety of other fans and the building. Signs that say things like Fire Nico can be confiscated, and shirts that are deemed to be against the code of conduct will be asked to be covered up. But as long as you are respectful, you should not be ejected. Okay. All right. So here's the change. The change was if you just showed up with a Fire Nico sign, they were kicking your ass out. Now they're saying there's a change. If you show up with a Fire Nico sign, they're just going to take that sign. So that's not really. The fuck is that? Back to the negotiation table, people. Back to the table. Because I got to tell you, that ain't nothing. That is still you with your billionaire boot on the neck of my First Amendment. My First Amendment right to be displeased with the way this team is running. And I'm sorry if it embarrasses you and your jazz hat wearing friend. So that's bullshit. All right, never mind. Let's get out of here. That's it. We don't need, just know that it's presented in the headline like it's a real change, but I don't think it's a real change. If they can still take your t-shirt, what are they going to make you turn it inside out like you're a child? Waiting in line for one of your $15 beers with my shirt inside out because daddy said it was inappropriate. Fuck you. How much are you charging for these tickets? You're an asshole. This is not working. It's not working. Just burn it all down. Metaphorically. I just want to make sure. Metaphorically burn it all down, which means fire everyone. All right. Let's go. Let's get into some other stories. I wanted to talk about this one because this is a story. This is one of those stories. There are a few of them out there, but this is the one that I really think is the important one. When I talk about 70% of us can do business together, right? When I talk about that 70% of us, because 15% of us have been so radicalized on the right. I mean, we're gone forever. Same goes for 15% on the left. Just gone. Can't deal with them. They're too irritating anyway. See, at least when the super radicalized on the right get to run in their mouths, it's occasionally funny. And you can be like, that's crazy. When the radical left runs their mouth, it's always irritating. It's just irritating. It's like, oh, fuck. Are you kidding? I got to respect hamster rights now. Hamsters have rights. Oh, fuck. Anyway. So that's the difference. But they're both nuts. 15 on the right, nuts. 15 on the left, nuts. 70% of us in the middle. And there are a few stories that I think define the 70%. And this is one of them. Now, it's being offered out there by Well, it depends. It's being shown as a victory by right-leaning sources, and it's being deemed as just a horrible thing by left-leaning sources because it is a politicized subject. But I'm telling you, 70% of us are like, yeah, that's fine. We're fine. Normal people are like, yeah, that's fine. That makes sense. Here's what it is. It's one of these Trump changes, right? Trump's making all these changes. We got the Gulf of America now, right? We got freedom fries. I don't know if freedom fries are a thing. Breaking news. All right, here we go. We got some breaking news here. Trump signs orders calling for reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trade partners. Okay. I'm not an economist. I don't know what's going to happen there. All right. Very good. Got no comment on that. I know a lot of you do. But I also know a lot of you ain't economists either. And I know a lot of you are just going to be parroting now whatever it is you're hearing on MSNBC at the moment or Fox News at the moment. I don't know. We're white-knuckling it for 4 years. We're just going to see how this plays out. Let's hope for the best. How are we not hoping for the best? All right, let's get back to this one. This is that issue that I think 70% of normal people agree with. By the way, that's a good question. Thank you. My schizophrenic mind in there just asked me a question and I thank them. How do we think America feels in general about the changing of the name of the Gulf of Mexico, right? Like that's just funny to me, right? But it's not important to me, like not important at all. It's just funny. And why is it funny to me? It's funny to me because it's just another example of how fucking everything is a construct and people are willing to die for the construct. That's called the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm like, nah, that's just a construct. Some guy came up with it and said, we're going to call it this. And then another person said, I agree. And then over the course of time, everybody's like, that's just what we're calling it. And now you're willing to die so that we all keep calling it the Gulf of Mexico. I'm a baseball fan, okay? I have seen my team's stadium change names every 10 years. Every 10 years, the stadium's the same piece of shit that they've always played in, but it's got a fancy new name every couple of years. So it's all a construct. But if you asked like everybody in America, like they'd be like, do you want it to be Gulf of America? Or do you want it to remain Gulf of Mexico? Or option 3, you don't really give a fuck. You're going to call it whatever you call it. I think option 3 would win on that one. I think option 3 would be like, this is funny. I'm going to keep playing with this. This is enjoyable. What else can we rename? This is silly. Let's go. But it's not important. There are things that are being changed that I think are important. And I think this is important to the 70% of normal people. Okay, so the Department of Education, which again, I have to ask, is that still a thing? Do we have a Department of Education? The Department of Education has urged the NCAA to reverse transgender athlete records, titles, and awards. The department said that the accolades were wrongfully credited to transgender women who it referred to as biological men. Okay, so it probably didn't need to be that in the way they wrote it, right? But you can support people and their life choices and their decisions and how they feel they should be seen and how they feel they really are. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be like, well, I don't have that, so I can't relate. You can be an empathetic human being and you can be like, yeah, man, that's a person going through something, having a life experience that I didn't have, but more power to you. You're human. God bless. That should be the attitude, right? You can have that attitude. You can have that attitude. You can have the attitude where when you see somebody like the dude that helps me all the time at the Kroger, there's a dude that helps me at my Kroger, and dude, they haven't picked a lane yet. Okay. Do you know what I mean? All right. I don't know if it's a dude or a girl. They haven't picked a lane. It can go either way. That's their thing and they're going through it. All I know is that every time I do the automatic checkout and it goes, please wait for assistance. Every time that happened, pick a lane dude shows up, helps me out. We exchange pleasantries, maybe a laugh. And then he goes back, or they go back to doing whatever. I don't care, right? That's good for them. And that's, I think, the way most people here in the 70% feel about the trans issue. Okay? But we're all being radicalized and we're all being forced to each other's throats by the crazy 15 here and the crazy 15 there. The one thing that I think we can all agree is that it's unfair. That if you are born a biological boy with the bone makeup and the muscle tone, and I don't want to get into that. I didn't read the most recent article, so I might say a wrong word. My point is this: boys are different than girls. 70% of us are all like, yeah, that's fucking very true. What with, one being able to recreate life and the other just having a dick and balls. They are different things. 70% of us agree with this. Doesn't mean all 70 of us are like, let's burn them like witches. That's a terrible, radicalized view from the 15% on the right that we shouldn't have anything to do with. So stop thinking that just because we know that there is a difference between somebody who was a girl or a boy for 15, 16, 17 years, who is now swimming in NCAA meets as a girl, we know, 70% of us, we know there's an advantage there. And this is all about the Leah Thomas thing from a couple of years ago. She's, have you ever like heard Leah Thomas? She's a fine young woman. It's her choice. See, she's a choice. She's a woman. That's what she is. She's a fine young woman. She's nice. But if you're on that side, she's the devil and she's a stupid bitch and a whore. And, come on, man, just leave her alone. But she's bigger than everybody else. It's indisputable. She's bigger than anybody else. And I struggle with this. I haven't been looking at the chat room, and I'm wondering if my guy Adam is chiming in here because I know Adam is an ally. Adam leans heavy left. He's a very progressive-minded guy. He's one of those in the chat room. But he's also got daughters, and he's also a sports freak. And I wonder what he thinks about this. The NCAA is now going to erase or reverse records set by transgender women at the collegiate level over the past 4 years. I guess that's when it started, 4 years ago. Because I would think that with a guy like Adam in our chat room, and I don't see him here today, so we're just talking about him, but I would think with a guy like Adam in the chat room, I would expect him to push back on me and my thoughts on this. And he would do it in a really ham-fisted, overly aggressive way. I'm sitting here trying to have a reasonable conversation. He'd be like, that's because you're a fucking white man, Colin. No, kidding. I'm kidding. I get the bust Adam. I get the bust Adam's balls. I get the bust Frank's balls. I get the bust Jeff's balls. I get the bust Byron's balls. Some of you, Barney, I get the bust some of your balls. Peter. But I wonder, because he's got daughters. And I'm like, come on, man. On some level, you're going to be, what if your daughter is like in a powerlifting contest? I don't know. Adam used to be a big dude. Maybe his daughters could be powerlifters. I don't know. Your daughter's in a powerlifting contest, and all of a sudden, she's knocked off the podium because, somebody with much greater physical gifts for this particular endeavor shows up. I don't know. So this is, am I wrong on this? I really do think that reasonable, compassionate people who also paint themselves as allies can look at the situation with women's sports and the way that the trans woman's influence on that sports has sort of changed things. And look, here's the other thing you need to know. It's not like every record is held by a trans. No, some trans athletes actually just suck. They're just not as good. You can't even beat a girl. The hell's wrong with you? But there are some that are dominating, and you got to say why. Well, they're just better. Why? Well, they're just bigger. Why? Well, they're just more powerful. Why? It's because they were born a different gender, and their body has grown that way. So anyway. Not everything, as I say, that is being changed is silly and frivolous or horrifying, right? That's the other side of it. It's either silly or frivolous, like the Gulf of America, which is awesome. I love that. I think that's funny. The Gulf of America, silly or frivolous, or, just some shit that's like really scary. Like, are we really doing that? Really? There are other ones like this where we're like, yeah, okay, I can see why people are screaming about it, but let's really take a deep breath and let's talk about what this is. And I think we all, at least the normal 70%, can come to the conclusion that, yeah. And I hate I'll tell you, this issue too, this is why I wanted to talk about it here, is so important to the 70%. I said after the election, do you remember what I said the most prevalent yard sign in the neighborhoods that I walked was? The most prevalent yard sign was protect girls' sports. Every other house had a protect girls' sports. And that was an issue that Trump was pledging to do, protect girls' sports. Because even in families that don't have any political leanings one way or another, maybe they do have athletes, maybe they do have kids, maybe that became a really big issue. And I don't believe the left thought it was an issue at all. But again, I say the crazy 15 on the right, they're a little over the top on it, but they are at least on the right side here, because 70% of us, I think, can all agree that asking the NCAA to give the actual girls back their records in girls' sports isn't unreasonable. It's not madness, and it's certainly not cruel the way it's being painted in some circles. All right. Oh, Adam, what did I miss? We're moving on. We're moving on. You can go back it up. Back it up. Anyway, I was trying to be respectful too, so calm down. All right, there you have it. Let's go. What's the next one? Oh, okay. So here's one. This is funny. This is funny, and I'm going to show this because it's funny. Again, it's silly and it's funny. Now, yes, people more lefties, more lefties are going to be like, and you people on the right, I got to be like, yeah, what you got to say now? Trump fucking went all Biden in a fucking meeting today where he forgot where he was, forgot what he was doing, started to wander around. And I ain't heard nothing from all of the people who used to just nitpick every little weird thing that Biden did. And make no mistake, you didn't even have to nitpick. Biden did some weird shit. Undeniable. But where are you on Trump? So here, I'm going to show you something. This is funny. So Trump, like 80 years old, right? He's still an old man. Huh? What? So Trump was in the Oval Office to swear in Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is something. I don't know. I'm trying not to pay attention to that shit. Tulsi Gabbard's in charge of something. And he's in the Oval Office to do the swearing in ceremony in front of the press. Trump wanders in, goes up to the mic, starts going, dot, 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 and then goes, thank you, good night, and walks out. And Tulsi Gabbard is standing right there, like, hey, what's happening? And then you see his handlers, because everybody has handlers at that level. You see his handlers start to handle him, which is something that you, Byron, would not have tolerated out of Biden. So what say you? Here's what I love about it. I'm going to show it to you. Newsmax, which is a very crazy 50. If you're on the crazy 15% of people that I don't care if you listen to this show or not, if you're the crazy 15% on the right, you're familiar with Newsmax. You watch Newsmax. That's crazy 15% or central. Newsmax is all about Lord and Savior Trump and all that stuff. So this happened on Newsmax, and Newsmax didn't know how to react. They were like, huh? He doesn't know where he is. I think the president forgot where he was. You can't say that on Newsmax. Do you say President Trump didn't know something? Fire him. Put him in Guantanamo. Anyway, let's watch this. It's funny. It's funny. If you can't laugh, then if you can't laugh at this Byron and Barney and Jeff and all my MAGA guys, if you can't laugh at this, but you laughed at Biden and all that, you ain't playing fair, man. You just told on yourself. All right, here you go. So remember the context. He's there in the Oval Office. He's supposed to be swearing in Tulsi Gabbard. He totally shits the bed and forgets why he's there. And this all happens live on Trump-friendly network Newsmax. Here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you see, was this Tulsi's husband? And that's Tulsi right there. She's like, am I not going to get sworn in? But anyway, this picks up from "Thank you, good night," which I wish they would have shown some of the, because he just walked in, started babbling, "Thank you, good night," and walks out. Doesn't even look at Tulsi. I don't even think he recognizes her. He's like, "Who's that?" Anyway, let's watch this again. Here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Look at her. She knows. This is the White House press secretary. She fucking knows. She's sharp. She knows what's happening, and she's got her eyes at the floor. She ain't gonna say shit to him. She ain't, because whatever he's decided to do in the moment is the thing that we're supposed to be doing. So here we go. He's getting Elvis'd, man. This is Graceland. They are telling him everything he wants. Look at her. She's not even. She knows. She knows what just happened here. Look at her. Look at Tulsi Gabbard. She just leaned into her husband. Quote, "I've been married twice." She just leaned into her husband going, "The fuck is happening? I didn't get sworn in." Let's watch that again. Hold on. Tulsi, right now she's like, "So is this not happening?" He's like, "This is fucking weird." She's like, "Is this not happening? Am I getting sworn in or what?" He walks by. She smiles. She now realizes he doesn't know where the fuck he is. And look at what she does to her husband. He's fucking out of it. That's a wife to a husband thing. He's fucking. Anyway. Come on. Look at him. There he goes. Oh yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, wait. We got to watch it from the beginning now. I'll let it play out, because what that weird pause and all that is, they got to throw it back to the Newsmax anchor who's like, "What? I thought there was a whole ceremony here."
Much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just going to open the door for him because I'm.
All right, folks, there you go. President, we were hoping to see Tulsi Gabbard getting sworn in here, but apparently that's not going to happen.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
everybody.
okay, there you go. I want to watch it one more time.
All right, folks, there you go. President, we were hoping to see Tulsi Gabbard getting sworn in here, but apparently that's not going to happen.
Thank you very much.
All right, there you go. That's how Newsmax handled it. That's a shorter clip than the one I saw. Anyway. What say you? What say you, crazy right-wing MAGA guys? Come on. Make fun of him the way you made fun of Biden. Tell me now. He's too old. I've been saying that forever, but now you guys are like, "No, Biden's too old. Trump's the best." And I get it. I understand. Biden was a bad 83, right? What is Biden? What was he? Biden was like bad 82, 83, 81 when he was president. Trump does seem a little sharper, but here we go. He didn't know where he was. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Good night, everybody. All right, let's keep going. Barney says he's just tired. That's all. That couldn't have been Biden's thing. The guy who golfs constantly is the one who's tired. All right. Hey, look, they are doing a lot. I honestly haven't seen Trump golfing since Sunday. So, that's good for the president of the United States, who's completely overturning the way we've done things for the last 50 years, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know. I'm willing to sit and watch, wait it out. I haven't seen him golfing since Sunday. He was golfing before going to the Super Bowl. He's exhausted. Dude doesn't read, Barney. He doesn't read, right? He doesn't read anything. So what he does is he has people that come and they present him the Cliff Notes. Which again, maybe that works. Maybe that's better. I don't know. In the past, we've always had presidents who, theoretically were staying up in the middle of the night going over documents. Now we got a guy who has a dude who comes and kind of just Cliff Notes everything for him every morning. That's fine. If it works, it's fine. I'm saying I'm willing to go down this completely different path. I mean, not willingly. I mean, we're going down this path. That's kind of what I mean. You know, I bought in. I bought into whatever happens next, good or bad. And as I always say, although I've been saying things get kind of tense. I'm still a middle-aged white guy. At least for the next 4 years, I feel like I won't be a target of anything. So there's something. That's something. I'm also bald. I feel like we bald middle-aged white men. I feel like we're about to have a moment. So I'll ride that. I don't care about the politics involved, but I'll ride that. All right, let's go. Oh, Jesus. I don't want to do this story. I don't want to do this story now. I don't want to do it now. Are you following the Cincinnati Children's Hospital story? There's a little girl who needs a heart. And because her parents are like, her parents who are like cousins of J.D. Vance. Little girl needs a heart. Cincinnati Children's Hospital is like, yeah, she can't be on the list. She can't be on the donor list because she's not vaccinated, because we're not going to give one of these super rare hearts. There's only a couple of hearts. We're not going to give one of these hearts to somebody who is probably going to die of COVID next year or whatever. And they're making it about COVID, but if you read the full story, it's about everything. She's not nominated. She's not vaccinated against anything. And they're like, yeah, come on. If we're going to put you on the donor list and we're going to give you a new, you got to be, we as the scientists, we have to be pretty sure that you are going to be a viable vessel for this new organ. Otherwise, we'll just give it to somebody who will be a viable vessel. And the choices that your parents have made for you, not getting you any of these vaccines, has made it so you do not meet the protocol required for being in line for this incredibly precious thing, a human organ. I mean, there's 1 million people that need organs, and there's like 4 organs available. So you understand. So I get it from that standpoint. But what I don't really understand about this story is, and especially how I'm seeing it online, although I guess I do understand, because it's being propelled and fueled by the crazy 15 on the right. They're going to let this baby die. It's not a baby. It's a 13-year-old little girl. It's J.D. Vance's, what is this? Okay. So the mother who refuses to get her 12-year-old daughter, it's adopted daughter. The mother is okay. The mother, here's how it works. The mother who refuses to get her child who needs a heart vaccinated in order to get the heart, that mother has a brother who's married to J.D. Vance's sister. Boom! I nailed it. So this lady who's going to let her kid die because she won't get vaccinated. So this lady has a brother, and that brother is married to J.D. Vance's sister. I did it twice. It's there now. It's not going anywhere. So that's why it's taken up some speed and all that kind of stuff. And oh my God, what an incredibly, first of all, your kid is, I don't, here's what I don't understand. So the parents are willing to have doctors cut open their little girl, install another dead person's organ into her chest, right? Going to put her on anti-rejection drugs for the rest of her life. But vaccines against measles and COVID are against your religion. She is going to be on anti-rejection drugs for the rest of her life, and she's 12. She is committing herself by accepting this organ. Unless, are you saying now that when she gets the organ, she's not going to take the anti-rejection drugs, and thus it's going to die inside of her? She's going to die, and the organ will have been wasted when it could have maybe saved somebody who was willing to do the shit required to maintain the new organ? God damn. I got a kid. I don't give a shit what the requirements are. If there is an organ that will save my sick child's life and the doctors are saying, here's what you need to do to get this organ, I'm doing it. Your kid's gonna die. And what you're worried about the COVID vaccine killing them? This is an absurd story that the 15% on the right seem to be using as another example of how the state is a horrible hatchet. And they don't care. They want us all to die. This little girl. That's crazy 15%. And I'm telling you, once again, the 70% of us in the middle here, we're like, do what you fucking got to do to save your daughter, man. She's going to die anyway. I'm not going to put that poison from COVID in her body. Oh, God. But again, they're going to take another person's heart, a dead person, out of a corpse. They're going to stick it in your little girl's chest. Then she's going to be on these anti-inflammatory and anti-rejection medications, a whole cocktail of it, every single day for the rest of her life. But you don't want her getting the measles or the COVID, okay? Because that could get the vaccine from that could kill her. That's what I think the 70% of us sees in this story. This isn't political. This is about fucking mental illness. And this mother thinking that taking a stand against the oppressive government, it's not the oppressive government, it's a bunch of doctors in white coats who went to college a lot longer than you, who figured shit out through trial and error and through watching other people and test studies and all of that. They know what they're doing, Mom. What is wrong with you? Madness. All right, moving on. I didn't want to do the Cincinnati Children's Hospital story. And now here we are. All right, let's talk about the, we'll show some of this, but yesterday we talked about the Elon Musk in the Oval Office story about the little kid. I'm like, the little prop kid's cute. You know, little kid X, he's a prop. He's out there for a reason. Nobody brings their 4-year-old to a press briefing in the Oval Office. There was a prop. No, he's such a good dad that he just came in from the playgrounds and they're like, hey, Elon, want to go in the Oval Office? And he's like, but I got X. And they're like, that's okay. Just this one time. That's not how it happened. It wasn't happenstance. He brought the kid. The kid's a prop. The kid's been on stage with him a million times. The mother of the kid is like, why? You know, you got to stop using X as a prop, okay? It's a prop. Why is it a prop? Because it humanizes Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk on his own is fucking weird. Remember when he didn't have the kid? What did he do? Nazi salute. Remember the other time he didn't have the kid? What did he do? Bah, bah. Remember he became a meme, a dork meme? You know when he doesn't become a meme? You know what? When he's actually with his kid, he puts the kid out there and the kid runs around and does shit and it's adorable and it works and I say keep doing it. But Pugs, he's exploiting the child. I don't care. That kid's probably going to grow up to be an asshole anyway, let's be honest. That kid is like the son of the, that kid is like the son of the world's wealthiest man. That kid right now, this is the best that kid's going to be. This is the best that kid is going to be. He's just, as soon as he gets a little bit more awareness of who he is in the pecking order and who his dad is, that kid is going to be an insufferable 11-year-old. Oh my God. So let's enjoy him now. Let's let him go out there. Let's let him rub his boogers on the... Did you see that? Did you see that? He rubbed his boogers on the Oval Office desk. Here, look at this. I'm not kidding. And again, I say let's enjoy this kid because chances are he ain't going to be very enjoyable later in life. That's just me. That's just me. Oh, but Pugs! Why you can't be talking about a kid like that? They fucking brought the kid to a press briefing in the Oval Office. They're the ones who introduced the kid subject. Stop it. People don't know what you're talking about. All right, let's go here. Here we go. Check it out. He rubs his booger, this little kid. All right, let's watch it. Here we go.
And the prices from one year to the next are the same. And they're
all right, so that's something else that I don't know what it is because there is some controversy. Look, he wiped his booger on the desk. That is not under controversy, which is why I'm talking about it. The other thing is they're like, what did the kid say? CNN reported last night. I'm watching CNN last night, and they showed the kid and what he's saying to Trump. And CNN reported that the kid said, "I'm sorry, but I have to go to the bathroom." Like, and you could clearly hear it on CNN. "I'm sorry, but I have to go to the bathroom." Like, and you clearly hear it. But then I go online and there's all these people. "The kid said you're not the president. Listen." And then we listen to it and it's like, fuck. Sounds like the kid is saying you're not the president. That's all the online shit. CNN was like, "Nah, kid said I got to go to the bathroom." Anyway, I think this is it. I think, oh no, although this one, the kid said, hey, kid had a lot to say to Trump, okay? Apparently the kid is very comfortable in the halls of power at this young age. He talked to Trump a lot. Trump completely ignored him, which, you know. But the kid was like all like leaning in and saying, "We don't know what the kid said, so stop it." But this one we kind of do. This one, I think he is telling Trump to shut up. I think this little kid is telling Trump in this moment to shut the fuck up. Let's listen.
The mortgage, all the debt payments dropped.
This kid.
How great is that for the
Oh my God, there he is again.
The
No!
booger.
Oh!
That's right.
All right, so he's got the booger. This is the booger one. All right.
He's gonna put his booger fingers on
And-
the presidential desk.
And the prices.
All right, so here, let's listen to what he's saying here. People, and I don't know, like I said, CNN had a different interpretation of it. More innocent and sweet. But other people are like, he's telling the president to shut the fuck up. So let's see what this is. And again, I don't even know what this is with AI and with people being able to dub things, but let's listen.
And the prices from one year to the next are the same.
All right, it seems right there like the kid is saying, "I want you to shush. I want you to shush." All right, that's I'm wearing headphones. I got it cranked up. Maybe I hear it a little better than you guys. Let's see if that's "I want you to shush." He's saying that to the president. Jesus.
Prices from one year to the next are the same.
And then he gives him a look. "I want you to shush." Okay. And he gives him kind of a serious look, like, "I'm the son of the world's wealthiest man."
And the prices from one year to the next are the same. And they're and
All right, so now that last one, what is it? What is he like? "Fuck you." That's what people are saying. This kid is not saying "fuck you." That is not what this kid is saying.
and they're the same. And they're the same. And they're the same.
I got no idea. But like I say, I like this kid. He's cute. He's wiping boogers on the desk. That's the best this kid is gonna be. I promise you that, because he's gonna be insufferable. I just know it. All right, he's gonna get grown men fired. Yeah, there are gonna be grown men who are like gonna park their car too close to his bike, and these grown men's careers are going to be ruined. That's who this kid is gonna be. All right, anyway, let's keep going. Hey, Missouri is suing Starbucks. This is a while. The state's attorney of the great state of Missouri is suing Starbucks. Why are they suing Starbucks? All right, let's get into it. I'll show you why they're suing Starbucks. Here you go. More female and less white. Missouri Attorney General accuses Starbucks of violating anti-discrimination laws. Okay, so the Attorney General. Hold on. Here's the complaint of the Attorney General, that whenever he goes into a Starbucks, it's always a black lady. He doesn't. Well, wait till he goes out into the job market and has to meet with some human resources. Like I said, it's always been a black lady for me. I don't know where these middle-aged white men who are supposedly have all the power and will hire this person over, I don't know where they are, because as I like to point out, every time I've been with a human resources person, it has always been a female and always at least a person of color. But the Attorney General of Missouri is tired of walking into Starbucks and seeing black ladies. And he thinks it's because he knows why. He thinks it's because Starbucks is only hiring black ladies. That's his problem. But the way, this is what these guys do. This is why they rise into the power vacuum created by nonsense. We got nonsense. People are rising. We got people. He's smart. because this guy's smart. He's like making an argument that me, who sees how absurd this is, he's making an argument where I'm like, he's kind of right. I kind of agree with the Attorney General of Missouri on this. Not fully, but let's break it down, okay? All right, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, Republican. He's got an R next to his name. That's how I know it. Do you know what I think would be the most impactful innovation that media could do? Is they could remove the designate Republican, Democrat, or Independent from the politicians they interview. If you were forced to just watch whoever interview whoever, and it didn't tell you ahead of time who this was, look, every time a Democrat shows up on Fox News, you people know to hate the person before they open their mouth because they're always got the D next to their name. Drop that. Drop that. I can't tell you how many people, how many guys with R's, that I've heard make sense, and how many people with D's make sense. But I think that the vast majority of us, we just see that, and I think that's why they do it. So I would like the media to stop doing it. Figure out what party they're from by how they talk. Like what policies are there? And then, maybe hope they say so themselves. But this idea, I feel like we're being manipulated into not truly listening to what people are saying because of preconceived notions regarding party affiliations. That's just me, but we'll forget about that. Back to the Attorney General, Republican, Andrew Bailey from Missouri. He's filed a lawsuit against Starbucks claiming the international coffee chain has violated federal and state anti-discrimination laws. Well. A lot of alliteration in a lawsuit formally filed on Tuesday. Bailey claims the company engaged in race and sex-based hiring practices, unlawfully segregated employees, and offered certain training and employment benefits exclusively to select groups. All right, so once again, here's what the lawsuit says. Here's the problem that the state of Missouri has with Starbucks, okay? The company is engaged in race and sex-based hiring practices. He thinks it's race, black, and sex women. You're just hiring black women. The company is engaged in race and sex-based hiring practices, unlawfully segregated employees. What, by not hiring white ladies? Well, what do you mean segregated? Unlawfully segregated employees, and offered certain training and employment benefits exclusively to select groups. That last one is the one that I go, that's the problem. That's the big one. They're burying it at the end there because they know that the whole idea that they're not hiring white ladies, they're all hiring black ladies. That's the one that's going to trigger us. That's the one that we're going to want to talk about. But the most important aspect of this is that one of the other charges against Starbucks is that they are offering specialized training to select groups, select ethnicities. Like if you're just a white guy who works at Starbucks, you're not eligible for this special training program. But if you are, so okay. Let's not get distracted by the other things. That's important because that is bullshit. And I know. Oh, for 200 years, there were no, okay, I know. But for the last 50, we've worked really hard as a collective society to recognize that was wrong and that we have made real strides. We do not need to constantly be reminded of the 200 years where I say white people, we're engaging in some pretty sketchy ass behaviors, slavery and whatnot. So I get it. For years and years, there were no opportunities, but man, we've had a black president. I know that sounds like the worst thing a white guy can say. Racism is done. No, racism isn't done. Racism will never be done. The idea that we're trying to fight racism is tied directly to stupidity. And if you think stupidity is going away, you're fucking nuts. Racism cannot be ended. What it can be is managed by a diligent and logical civilized society. We can manage it. Okay. So back to the story. This son of a bitch, this attorney general, who may or may not have a point, is not trying to manage America's racial situation. What he's trying to do here is inflame it. This is just to inflame it. Let's keep going. He further alleges that initiatives designed to prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Let's hold a poll. What word has less brand appeal, DEI or woke? Woo, those are two bad words. Or liberal. Is liberal still the king of that hill? You're a liberal. That's like the worst thing you can be called. Now it's liberal, woke, when, DEI, He further alleges that initiatives designed to prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion ultimately amount to unlawful discrimination. So I don't think I've ever talked about this DEI mess because I don't give a shit because it's all a diversion. Here's what I think about this whole thing. Diversity, okay, DEI, equity, okay, an opportunity to have a share in whatever riches this grand American experiment could offer. Equity, I get that. And inclusion. A seat at the table, right? Those are all things, those have all been sort of, default operating modes my entire life and everybody I know. And again, I know, and but there's racists out there. No, right. No, there's stupid out there, and stupid is always going to be out there. Okay, so let's not worry about it. The reason the DEI is taking on so much water, broadside torpedo hits, and it's going to be sunk completely. The reason for that is because, like any good, well-intended notion that we would all be like, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, really? That company's got a black CEO? No big deal. That should be the response, but it's not. Instead, it's constantly and just used as like it was corrupted and perverted. The once logical, decent notion that I think much of us are happily engaging in every day without putting that scarlet letter DEI on it. I think we all operate under these suggested DEI things every day anyway. I mean, unless you're a fucking racist, unless you're just a racist who's like, hey, man, get off my part. If you're that guy, then no, you're not. But the rest of us are just normal. We're just like, eh. But it became an industry. And there became people who started making a whole lot of money by creating these DEI management and compliant businesses. And, these things started sparking. And so their job became to justify their job. And so everything became another example of why DEI is important. Which is why we now have this blowback. And I do think rank and file, as again, excluding the stupid people. The stupid people, we're going to exclude the stupid people from this because that's where you'll find the racists. Although, isn't it scary that there are some smart racists? There really are. But those are crazy people. Okay, so we're excluding the stupid and the crazy. And then the rest of us, 70%, that's who we got. I think the rest of us are like, okay, they're doing this to DEI, and it sure does feel ugly. But you know what? I don't entirely disagree with them finally. Now back to the Starbucks story. So the Attorney General of Missouri is suing Starbucks because he says they're only hiring black ladies and they're doing too many things with DEI, and it's creating an unfair work environment for white workers. According to a 2021 memo from Starbucks, it also cited in the lawsuit, the company has set and tracked annual inclusion and diversity goals, aiming for at least 30% black, interracial, person of color representation at corporate levels and 40% at retail levels and manufacturing levels by 2025. Per the lawsuit, Starbucks' U.S. workforce was 69% women and 49% BIPOC in 2020. And those numbers shifted to 70% women and 46.5% person of color or black in September. Okay, so yeah, Starbucks workforce is overwhelmingly female. It's because it's a pretty gay job. I mean, sorry. That's dudes don't work at Starbucks. Dudes who work at Starbucks are either gay or like the opposite, the way opposite of gay. Like sexy guitar player who's in a band who like bangs 3 girls a night. That guy is also working at Starbucks, right? But no normal sports-loving dude wants to work at Starbucks. That's a weird thing. So, of course, their corporate makeup is going to be mostly women and gay dudes. All right. So, and they're 46.5%. So it's, it's not all black women. In fact, it's not even majority black women. It's 46.5% non-white people. Here's where I want to go with this story, because although I think a lot of this is just he's trying to make a name with himself with a group of people that he thinks will keep him in elected office, and he's doing this. What was hold on. I lost my train of thought. I got deep into the story. I started riffing, and here we are. So never mind. I think we should let some laid off white middle-aged truckers be baristas at Starbucks in Missouri if they want. You get some shitty ass coffee. Think about it. Think about like your gym coach gets laid off or something, and now he's the dude making your coffee. And those coffees are gonna suck. Say what you will about women. Say what you will about gay dudes. Say what you will about lead singers in alt emo bands. They make good coffee. They're good baristas. Nope, not going to do that one. Sorry, got another story here that I don't want to do. Let's see. Oh. Do I want to do this? A lot of people are mad about the black Captain America. I can't do it. There's a whole big story here about the black Captain America and where is his place in the new anti-DEI, anti-woke America. His place is right there. He's Captain America. Stop it. Who's got a problem with Captain America being black? Oh, a racist. That's who. A stupid racist. That's who. So shut up. Anybody that's got a problem with Captain America being black is an idiot. And boy, oh boy, as I tweeted yesterday, just wait till they find out about Jesus. Captain America falls into the category of Santa Claus. Like where I grew up on the south side of Chicago, I saw a lot of black Santa Clauses. Black families painted their Santa Claus for their front yard as a black guy. There's nothing wrong with that. We thought it was funny. Look at that. They think Santa's black, I would say, as a 7-year-old. They think he's black. They don't know. Whatever. And then we continue on to Grandma's house. But Santa's a made-up character. Santa is whatever color you want him to be. He's a made-up character now, unless you are gonna stick with who is it? Thomas Nast? Is that the guy who created? We just talked about him a couple days ago, didn't we? Anyway, there is a classic Santa Claus that I was raised with, and that is the Coca-Cola Santa Claus from 1900. That's with the red hat. That's the Santa Claus that we've all been raised. So you make him black, and people freak out. It's not a real person. Anybody who gets mad when they see I gotta be. If you get mad, if you get mad when you see a black Santa, okay, you're just a racist. I'm trying to find my way back to Captain America. Same thing, fictional characters, doesn't matter. And Jesus can play both sides of that, because if you think Jesus is a fictional character, then it doesn't matter if he was white or black. And if you think Jesus was a real character, then you absolutely know he wasn't white. He would fall into that POC, person of color category that the Attorney General in Missouri is so upset about. So anyway, stop being. I get the argument, because there is a lot of things in Hollywood, if something comes out in the movies theaters today, and it's released today or tomorrow, or something debuts on Netflix, chances are it was put in production over the course of the last year. So, something that you were making in April of 2024, you might have assumed something that was in production in, August of 2024. You might have made some assumptions. Maybe your new Netflix series stars a black woman as president of the United States. I don't know. Maybe you thought some shit was going to play out a certain way and it didn't. Hollywood, maybe. So that's why people are talking about Captain America. Like, does Hollywood have any regrets? Because the only reason that they got a black Captain America is because they felt they needed to because of slavery or whatever. When that's not the reason he's a black Captain. He's a black Captain America because that actor's cool. He's been in the Marvel movies and he's all, that guy's cool. That makes sense. With the modern, Marvel universe thing, this doesn't feel at all like they needed a black guy. I mean, it actually makes sense that this guy who's been a character in these movies all this time would be the new Captain America if something were to happen to Captain America, and something did, as it has in the comic books over the years. So stop it. Stop being stupid. All right. Bill Burr's got himself in trouble again. I don't know if he's in trouble, but Bill Burr, I'm telling you, I love this guy. I don't think Byron likes him, though. Did you talk some shit on my boy Bill Burr? Bill Burr's funny. Bill Burr's another one of these guys that the minute I lost my radio show, I haven't spoken to him since. You used to text me, hey, Bill, I'm coming to town. You want to hang out? I'm like, yeah, we do. We would like to hang out, Bill. 15 years ago, he's a goddamn rock star. One of the greats. He is one of the greats. He's also a nice guy. And I don't really hold that against him. I mean, we weren't real friends. We were industry friends. I was a platform for him when he was a touring comic, and he had to maintain that relationship so that he knew that he always had someplace that he could go when he was in Dallas. And, that's the reason you get the text. That's why when Kelly and I went to New York and hung out with Opie and those guys and got to sit at that incredibly famous comedy table at the Comedy Cellar with all of those comics, Colin Quinn, that's why Bill came. Bill showed up. Because we were there. That's the kind of dude he was. He's a good guy. I never got it twisted. We weren't friends. We didn't grow up together. We were industry friends. Okay. But he's a good dude. And I know that, for some reason on the right, he takes a lot of shit. And I'm like, what? He's like the most in the middle. My whole vibe, my whole 70%, I'm in the middle. These people are fucking controlling the puppet strings and none of you are paying attention. That's his vibe. That's my vibe. Outraged, middle-class working man who is trying to tell the rest of my working man brethren to wake the fuck up. That's always been his vibe, especially the last couple of years. And I guess that has rubbed some people the wrong way. So he's a bad guy. He's, whatever. He's got a black wife. Yeah, people make a huge deal about that. I don't know. Never met her. We weren't friends. We haven't been acquaintances in years, but I love Bill. And anytime he gets in trouble, I like to present why he's in trouble. Because I don't think he does anything. It's the same reason that I say I'm unafraid to do a stream of consciousness is because I know I'm not an asshole. And I know that even if I accidentally do something, I know that there isn't going to be any real punishable level of malice behind it. I always accidentally said that, or I'm not a dick, so I'm not afraid. So that's why whatever gets Bill Burr in trouble, I will happily play it because he's not a dick, because he's actually a nice person. He's actually a good human being. And yeah, he's bombastic and he's Bill Burr, but we're going to play this. So he's in trouble for saying something that you guys might think sounds familiar. I don't want to say that we're the same person, but here we go. Bill Burr got into it on Monday, his Monday podcast. Got into it about billionaires. And like I said, this was during the Super Bowl wrap-up show. So here you go. Bill Burr goes scorched earth on billionaires. Here we go.
The amount of people that are struggling out there because of these billionaires, and they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much money in this country, and there's so much work being done, and if you work a full week at a job, you should be able to pay your rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get another job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country. because then the kids don't see their parents, and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking these fucking billionaires. They need to be put down. You know, like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed, and just going.
There you go. Sound familiar? Carrying water, puppet strings, however you want to say it. I was very pleased to hear that. He's taking a lot of heat for that. And I'm like, no, that's kind of what I say every day here. We are big. All of this shit, you not talking to your brother's ex-wife or your brother's wife or whatever, or you having an ex-wife because I can't believe what that bitch voted for. She voted for Hillary and I had to divorce her. People fucking living their lives like that. It's absurd. Absurd. And it's the billionaires who have created this scenario. The billionaires will fuel it through Fox News and now Twitter. Yeah, Rupert Murdoch and Elon Musk are huge puppet masters. And yet they still get otherwise well-meaning and logically minded working class people defending them, fanboying for them. They have no clue what's actually happening. So Bill Burr's taking some heat for that because he thinks billionaires ought to be put down. And I would like to echo that sentiment. Put the billionaires to sleep. You know, this is not a thing. Let's go, wow, why is this? No, it's not new. This is new. We didn't always have billionaires or a commensurate amount of money. We had JP Morgans and a couple of rich people. We didn't have, there's like 8 billionaires in Dallas. It's not a thing. Okay? Didn't used to be a thing. The expansion of the billionaire class that has occurred over the past 20 years at the expense of us has been a slow creep, because if it happened all at once, we'd be like, hey, we noticed that, but it was a slow creep. So now it just is what it is. We got Elon Musk. Elon Musk is calling all the shots, man. The bank of Elon is in full control. And as I like to say, he's a borderline retarded guy who was raised in an apartheid state, and he's pacing back and forth in the Oval Office while the president, the duly elected president of the United States, is sitting there like a fucking cock while a kid rubs boogers on. It's madness. It is madness, and I'm here for it every day at noon. Hopefully you will be as well. Hey, Barney, I'm not even going to read your comment. Barney's probably being mean to me. It's okay. Barney and I are straight. Frankie, thank you so much. I see Frankie in there. I think Frankie B. I see Frankie B in there. I see Adam. I see Peter. All right, we're done. Show's over. 2:15. Yeah, that's enough. I thought it was going to be much colder in here today than it turns out to be. It was, the last time we had a cold snap here, the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios decided to, well, the heater anyway, decided to crap out on us, and it was really cold. And so I came in bundled up like it was going to be freezing, and now I'm sweating. Oh, you know what? Wait, I think I do. I think I got one more thing. I think I got something else that I wanted to mention. Let me see. Do I have anything? No, we don't need that. We don't need that. I feel like I wanted to watch that Friendship trailer with you guys. That's the new movie. That's the new Paul Rudd, Tim Robinson movie. I'll tell you, Tim Robinson, man. That guy, he is, he's another one of the list of, I hope they celebrate this on SNL 50 this weekend. They won't, but, the people that Lorne Michaels just didn't get, where Lorne was like, no, he'll never make it. And they go off and they become like, unbelievable. Tim Robinson is one of the funniest people on the planet. And I love it because, I'm a guy in his 50s and my son is 15 and he crushes both of us. Like, you put a Tim Robinson thing on, we'll watch it. And anyway, it's called Friendship. I was going to, all right, let's watch that. Why not? I'll find it. Here, it's on YouTube. We'll watch it and we'll discuss it because a lot of people are a little bit confused by the trailer because the trailer is wild. The trailer is done against genre. Okay. So this movie is like the tone of this movie. If you go see this movie, it's probably going to be more in tone with things like 40-Year-Old Virgin and Step Brothers. Okay. But they cut the trailer to make it seem like something else. And it's got some people confused, and that's okay, because the reviews on this film there hasn't been a comedy film that has had this kind of review, this kind of hardcore review that I can remember in a very long time. Anyway, here it is. It's called Friendship. It stars Paul Rudd. So that's good, right? That's off to a start. Who doesn't love Paul Rudd in the movie? And co-stars just the incredibly funny Tim Robinson. Here it is, Friendship. It's the official trailer.
Hello?
Howdy. Howdy.
Honey, the new neighbor invited you over for a drink at 8 tonight. I said you'd go.
You don't know my schedule.
You sit there every night. Might be nice to have a pal, you know, a bud.
Hey guys, this is my neighbor Craig. He's the best. I was just spiraling. I mean, I see the way the guys look at her. I'm scared.
Hold on, wait a second. I just want to stop something real quick here, because and I'll back it up. We're all familiar with Paul Rudd, right? Paul Rudd does different kinds of roles. Sometimes he's a little more dramatic. Sometimes he's flat out dramatic. But then when he does his comedy, he's got different speeds to his comedy. We just had a very big tell in this trailer of what speed this comedy is. It's the Anchorman, totally absurd comedic Paul Rudd. And you hear it when he introduces Tim Robinson, and he's like, this is my friend from next door. He's the best. Like that tone, that comedic tone of Paul Rudd tells us what this movie is. And what we're seeing here is something that looks like a murder mystery, or something that looks like, a horror film or whatever. Okay. So anyway, here we go.
I was just spiraling. I mean, I see the way the guys look at her. I'm scared.
Sheila's lucky to have a dad like you.
Boy, you should know that I've got you on my mind, your secret admirer. I've been watching you.
I mean, let's be honest. Now it feels like it's one of these cringy, like male bonding brotherhood movies. So, okay, keep watching.
At night, I think of you. I want to be your baby.
If your game is on, give me a call, boo. If your love is strong,
I can see the future. It's full of pals. I'm on the edge of life, and the view is gorgeous.
Look, we had a couple of really nice hangs, but I think it best that we go our separate ways. I don't wish to continue this friendship.
You all accepted me way too fast. You can't do that. You made me feel too free. People need rules.
You should be dead, you psycho! Who are you?
Give me a second chance. Get to know me.
There's a new Marvel out that's supposed to be nuts. We should go see that.
All right. I'm telling you, man. I think that's going to be a funny, funny movie. Both of those people are just can't miss. Sorry. I had the camera off because I like to make it bigger when we do that. What else did I want to mention? There were some other things I wanted to mention today. I wanted to share this with you guys. I forgot. I don't know which one of you did this. One of you did. I thought it was Jeff. I reached out to Jeff last night and said, "Oh, thank you. I'm not sure if you because Jeff and I sometimes suggest TV shows to each other. And if you know me, you know that I need at least 1 hour of good TV a night before I go to bed. There needs to be something that I look forward to. I got to have my stories, and it's been pretty rough. Been pretty difficult sledding the last couple of months. I mean, if you remember, it got so dark that I had to rewatch The West Wing. Went through The West Wing, bailed on the last season. Don't really give a shit about the Alan Alda versus Jimmy Smits battle for the White House that occupied the entire final season of The West Wing. because the series ran longer than a president is allowed to be president, so they had to do something. Anyway, then I found Silo, and I think I told you guys about Silo. Silo is on Apple TV, and I was like, oh, okay, so there is something good that Silo isn't new. Silo's I think they're heading into their 3rd season. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this, and I watched the first episode, and it blew me away. And there's only 2 seasons of it. 3rd season coming, I think, in June, because now I'm all like, when's the new season of Silo? It's excellent. Excellent sci-fi, like possibly, I don't know. It's only 2 seasons, but I've only watched one other sci-fi series because I don't like stupid sci-fi. I've only watched one other. It was the reimagined Battlestar Galactica, and I consider that the greatest television series of all time. Silo might be that good. I don't know. Let's see. 1 season, 2 seasons. We're only 2 seasons in. Silo. Battlestar Galactica had like 5 before I went, this is the greatest. Okay, so we'll see where Silo takes us. Silo's good. Rebecca Ferguson. I don't know who that is. She's like my favorite actress now. Apparently, Rebecca Ferguson is in all the Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise. She's like the hot chick or something. I don't know. She's the leader. She's the leader of the resistance or the rebellion or whatever you want to call it in Silo. She's very cool. Who else is in Silo? Common, Common the rapper, he's in it. Plays a very scary, like head of security. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Silo. Silo is very good. Apple TV, if you're looking for something to watch. Got a long weekend, right? Oh, don't get me started with that. Apparently, kids aren't in school again for a full week. No, because Monday's President's Day, and may as well take Friday off. Kids never go to school. It's insane. I can count 2 or 3 times, 3 times, 4 max. 3 times, 4 max this year, where my son has gone to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's always some bullshit. There's always some kind of, it might snow, so we're going to give them Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off because it might snow. Or some teacher institute or some holiday, or here's the most mind-blowing one. My kid was off from school a couple of weeks ago, and we had nobody had any idea why. We're like, why is it? I don't know. So we got President's Day on Monday. So it's a long weekend. So maybe you want something to watch. So I give you Silo, and now I give you this. And this is what brings us back to my conversation with Jeff. I thought that Jeff had suggested this show. This is a show that I had been eyeballing, for a couple of years. I'm like, no, more than a couple of years, really. I'm like, that looks interesting. I should check that out, but I never got there. And then one of you in the chat room over the last month or so, suggested I watch this. And I don't know how I found myself there, but it's on Paramount. So if you've got the Paramount channel, Paramount Plus, same thing that gives you the Yellowstone and Tulsa King too, I think, something like that. Anyway, so I started watching this show called The Mayor of Kingstown. The Mayor of Kingstown stars Jeremy Renner. That's right, the guy who fought an industrial-sized snow removal machine and won. Jeremy Renner, that guy, Mayor of Kingstown. I ripped through the first season in 4 nights. It is excellent. It's and it's also one of those shows too, because it's going in, I think it's 3 seasons or 4 seasons or whatever. We're waiting on the 4th season, I think. I got 2 more seasons to go. I'm only at the end of the 1st season. Mayor of Kingstown, Jeremy Renner. I haven't even gotten to the part in the series where he got run over. And apparently there was a long delay and all that, but whatever. I want to watch the last episode where he hadn't been run over. And then I want to go right seamlessly into the first episode where he is recovered from being run over. And I want to see what the difference is. Renner's great, man. I love Renner. So what is the Mayor of Kingstown? He's not a real mayor. The Mayor of Kingstown is basically, he's like a fixer. Okay. So think about, Ray Donovan. If you like the movie Ray Donovan, okay, that's who Jeremy Renner is. He's like that guy, okay? Except instead of being in Hollywood, he is a fixer in a fictional Michigan prison town. Okay. It is a town in Michigan, a big industrial town on Lake Michigan, where prisons, industrial, corporate, not corporate, but what do they call them? What are prisons for money prisons that make money for the community, whatever. It's all prisons. And Jeremy Renner plays this dude who's in town, who is the fixer for everybody. Like if there's beef in the prisons between the Mexican gangs and the white supremacists, he's the guy that gets involved and smooths it out. Anyway, Mayor of Kingstown is awesome. It's like equal, but the first thing I'm watching this, I'm like, what does this remind me of? And I'll tell you, in tone, Sons of Anarchy. In tone, the way there's jokes and the way you like these characters, but they're also despicable pieces of shit, and you're like, good. But then also, if you remember Oz, it is like the best prison show since Oz. And it's not all prison. So like Oz was all prison all the time. No, this is like 20% is inside prison. Like most of it's outside prison, and you know how the corruption of the government and the police departments and all that stuff. It's so good. And it's one of these shows that I can't believe I wasted 3 years not knowing about, because I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it. Mayor of Kingstown. It's on Paramount. Really good. Should I show you a trailer? I'll show you a trailer. Why not? We'll do a trailer for season 1. So you guys can see what I'm talking. Maybe it's your thing. Maybe it's not your thing. But whatever. If it is, then here's another show that I've suggested that hopefully you enjoy. All right. Hold on. All right. Here we go. Let's get this trailer. All right. I guess this is season 1. Let's do this one. All right. Hold on. Here you go. Again, and Jeremy Renner. Man, Jeremy Renner is cool. The first time I ever saw Jeremy Renner was in The Hurt Locker, and he was like an unknown actor. I didn't know who he was. And I'm like, God, where did this guy come from? This guy is magnetic on screen. Anyway, here you go. If you're looking for something new to watch, this is my new favorite show, Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount.
You're fix-it men, part-time gangsters.
We don't break the law, Ma. You know that. We just bend it. Make peace. For everybody.
I'm so familiar with what you do. Your father invented it.
I understand your influence within the prisons is unique. The answer is inside those walls, not outside.
If you want to know who's running what, anytime, where, come to me. What you see is what you get. I don't take sides.
Why did you pick up a shift?
Ma, don't start.
Your brothers are involved, I'm sure.
What aren't they involved in?
He's gonna have to keep his mouth shut, and he's gonna have to do what he's told.
The food chain here, there's a lot of wolves and only a few rabbits.
Why do they call him the mayor?
Because he runs the city.
I wonder what the real mayor thinks of that.
The real mayor knows it too.
Just do what you gotta do on that.
Everybody in this whole muff be dead if it wasn't for you.
If this is gonna work for anyone, everyone has to trust us. Anything I ever gave you, I can take away in an afternoon. Don't ever think.
I'm telling you, that's a badass show. And I can't believe that I ignored it for 3 years and then jumped in, and I am like, It's also one of those shows I started to say, this happens a lot when you look at the progression shows. Like if you look at the reviews for that show and the audience scores and all that, if you look at it for season 1, it's like 36. It's like, God, this is stupid. Then they brought it back for a second season. And then you see like the second season is like 86 because people are like, oh, it came back. And actually it's good. And then you see like the third season, it's like 99% approval. People do this all the time. Look at it with all shows. Look at it with Breaking Bad. Look at season 1 of Breaking Bad, 46% approval. People don't know what's good. So, the Rotten Tomato scores and all that kind of stuff. People don't know what's good. At least not in the beginning. They got to be told. They got to be on for 4 years. Breaking Bad was brilliant from the very beginning. Okay? It doesn't deserve whatever low score, or maybe it's not Breaking Bad. Maybe it's Sopranos or Sons of Anarchy. Anyway, there is a show out there that is considered to be one of the greats of all time. That is the quintessential season 1, 20%. Terrible show. Critics said it would never last. Season 2, 90%. Winner of 5 Emmy Awards. And season 3, 100%. Classic television show. Can't miss TV. That's how it goes. Doesn't mean that they got better. It means that people had their knives out for season 1, because until you've proven anything in this world, people are going to be looking to shit on you. And then once you prove that you're good, then they're like, oh, we're so sorry for shitting on you. That's the world. And that's what we cover every day here on The Rant. Going late today. Look at this. We're like a half hour in. Barney says Apple is probably it's a hard one. Apple is a weird one as far as the platforms go. Because in my mind, like when I think about Apple, when I think about Netflix, easy, Hulu, easy, HBO Max, easy, those are all easy. For some reason in my own mind, I think Apple's more difficult. Something difficult about Apple, something I don't like about their layout. But then I go to Apple, they got a lot of good shows, man. They got that For All Mankind is incredible. Silo is incredible. That Therapy one is incredible with Harrison Ford. That's a really good show. And then everybody likes Severance. Not me. I'm not one of these people who thinks Severance is amazing. I will do this though. I gotta re-examine Severance, I guess. Because Severance is one of those things that everyone is like, it's the best show of all time ever. And I watched it when it came out. I watched the first episode. Never watched the second. So that's kind of, maybe I got to give it more time. I don't know. But when it comes to television, I'll give it to you straight. You're going to know exactly what I like, okay? I'm not going to bullshit you because Time Magazine called it one of the 5 most important shows of all time. That doesn't influence me, never has. If I like something, I like it. Explains my deep sadness at the rift between Hall & Oates. I'm not afraid to admit it. I love Hall & Oates. And those two guys need to get back together. Guys, that's going to do it for the show today. One more time, I want to thank our executive producer. Our EP for today's show was my old friend, Kevin. Give it up for Kevin. A wonderful human, a terrific individual. And I appreciate you helping out. Thank you very much, man. I do. What else? Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's do this. Boom. If you want to be Prowl's executive producer, all you got to do is be the big tipper of the day. And let me tell you, nobody has tipped yet. That's just how it goes. So, anybody gets in, you could be the EP of tomorrow. Tomorrow's show, noon, Friday, Valentine's Day show. I'm like, what should we do? Something special for Valentine's Day? We're not going to do anything special. I ain't got no Valentine. I don't want no Valentine. I'm like, nope, head down, moving forward. I don't want to. I was thinking about this. I'm like, it's Valentine's Day because it snuck up on me. I'm like, there was a time in my life where like Valentine's Day was kind of stressful. It's like, oh, I gotta get dinner reservations. Got it. I don't even have a wife. I'm good. I'm like, my mom is my Valentine this year. My son last weekend, we were talking about, so we got a neighbor that's like kind of hot. And I was teasing that I think she's going through a divorce. And he goes, you should totally get involved with that. And I'm like, I don't get involved with it. He's like, no, you totally should. Wants me to get a girlfriend now. And I'm like, dude, don't. He's like, I never see you with a woman. I'm like, oh, is that what this is? Like, you need me to start dating somebody just so that you can be like, well, yeah, there you go. I've seen my dad on a date. And also, he has gone on dates with me. I was dating a woman when he was like 2 years old. He used to go with me all the time. And a woman that I was dating in Chicago in the summer, he met her. We hung out. He knows her. So whatever. I shouldn't feel so bad. But now he's like, I'm just starting to, what? You're starting to wonder? Let me tell you something, you little punk kid. I didn't say this. I wanted to be like, look, you stupid little virgin. Like, I wanted to say that to him, but I didn't because I'm his dad. Instead, I said, bitch, I've been married twice, okay? I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. I've been married twice. A lot of girlfriends in between that. Get out of here. What I am is somebody who completely understands that I do not need nor want to be in a relationship with another person. Certainly not one that's based exclusively on sexual attraction or any brand of romance. Is romance nice? Yeah, especially when it happens organically. You can't stop that. So you see what I'm saying here? If there is some romance out there for me to change my opinion on all of this, it's going to happen organically, and it is going to knock me on my ass, and it is going to be awesome. But I'm not holding out hope for that. I mean, I'm just like, whatever. So if you do have somebody that you love, cherish, and adore, and tomorrow is your big day, I hope you have a wonderful night and get all rested up because we will be doing a stream, the Valentine's Day stream. Again, doesn't mean anything. I don't even have anything red. I'm like, should I wear something red? I don't even have red. Do I have anything red? I don't have anything red. I don't have anything red. I think that's because I'm already kind of white, but not only white, like translucent, like Irish, like I'm already like ruddy faced. So I don't know that wearing red would be good. I might just completely disappear. That's why I don't have red. There you go. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay. More talk the way you can't hear anywhere else, right here from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery. I have been Pugs Moran. See you tomorrow. Bye, folks.